My gosh, we're back at it. I almost boomered there. I almost did.
Close, close. Almost.
So close. So close.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing tonight? Episode number 5 now of
Are
the
we
Mid Week
five?
Hump.
5.
We're up to 5.
Yeah, sir.
Nice.
And we are joined today by our very special guest, Mr. Quarterback Garrett. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
No, and thank you for joining us. Big fan of all that you do. Another handsome bearded man like myself.
Hey,
Hey,
look at that. I mean, I should put my hat on. I don't have it close to me, but I could. We just look like the same panel.
right.
There you go. I don't even know.
And to my co-hosts, Miss Horror Emirata, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Just a slight warning: there will be a burst of barking here shortly, but
dogs are fans too, right?
Oh yeah, you know how they are. They like to get their words in.
Yep. And of course, another wonderful co-host, Mr. Sheeplon Musk. How we doing tonight, sir?
Hey, I'm feeling rich.
Moving and shaking, dude. Doing a lot of good work out there.
So yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Maybe too much. I don't know. I had 1,000 different bookmarks on Twitter. And just this week, as we do, kind of go over the news and culture of that's happening. And I don't know. Like always, I can do nothing but rub my eyes and eye roll because it's pretty rough out there. And we were talking pre-show, basically, kind of like how it's kind of rough as a dad. Well, and me being a new dad. Garrett, I know you got an older child, boy or girl?
I've got one boy. He's about to be 11. 2 girls, and then a little boy. So I got 4.
Dang. Okay.
Oh boy.
You got to train.
Yeah. What can we do? Can we start a basketball team? No, not yet.
2 more.
Not yet.
Close.
2 more.
Close.
But you can pee out of that thing once in a while.
Take a break.
There are other liquids. There are other
things you can do.
Sorry. I got to initiate you a little bit, But welcome everyone who's in the chat. Appreciate you guys joining tonight. Space Zombie, Arcasul, and Cap Gamer, and Andy. How we doing? Great to have everyone here. I don't know where to start. Where should we start? Oh, where I want to start? Emirata, you had an article you wanted to discuss regarding GOG.
Oh God, yeah. So we'll start with me in there. That wonderful bit of news.
Oops. Oh God, let me get you. I'm boomering again.
He can figure it out. It's okay, guys. Just
help me, team.
stick with him.
Hey,
No, look, my hands are tied.
Judge. I will not judge.
I'd help you, but I got too much money to worry about. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think that's
there you
right.
are right there.
There we go.
And the image too. Oh my God. Like I didn't realize the image at first, like what it was about.
Yeah,
shout out to Bounding into Comics.
They picked an interesting image on that, but yeah. And I may have a weird take on this from everybody else, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But yeah, so obviously GOG is going to offer paid menstrual leave for all menstruating employees. And CD Projekt Red is considering to do the same thing, which I'm on 2 different sides of this. For one, the fact that you're menstruating. Okay, go for it.
Quarter menstruation, Gary.
Do I get like a half weekend off, an extra day? What's going on?
Well, they're
like
actually
2 hours.
They say that they're going to do it like it's going to average out to about a day a quarter, and you can take it in hour increments. So they're not talking about like giving people a week off for menstruation or anything. It's like you find you're bleeding, you have an hour or 2 to go sort yourself and
go clean yourself up.
No,
basically,
come on.
you're right back into it and whatever.
Goes to the grindstone, damn it. We have deadlines.
Oh, it's good. Quarter menstruation, Garrett.
School.
Oh man.
But yeah, and so for me, it's a private company. I don't care what they do. I'm fine with it. My issue comes with calling them, of course, menstruating menstruating people.
Yeah.
And
Persons that
you know, it
menstruate.
literally says, and you're on the next paragraph down, by accepting there are biological differences in the workplace. Well, gee, what kind of biological differences are we talking about here specifically? Can we elaborate on that? Because it's not between menstruating people; it's literally between men and women.
Right.
Right.
It's just,
And
yeah, I hate the wording too. It's like, I don't know. Like I appreciate, like we said before, like the biological differences in the workplace. Like, okay, we're acknowledging biology. Hopefully, I assume a biologist made this rule, so we know we're
Yeah.
sure.
well, they're saying menstruating people, so no, a biologist did not make this rule, because every biologist I've talked to gets really upset about the whole.
Yeah, but you see, even if it was a biologist, it would go through the PR, you know, and the HR
Yeah.
team. So you got to go
Oh,
through
yeah.
both those teams, and then
Right.
that's where you get menstruating peoples.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, if you go through the comments on the tweets, you get a lot of people saying, well, then what are they going to do for men, and et cetera, et cetera. For one, if they are actually acknowledging a biological difference, I'm cool with that. I don't necessarily think women need it on a whole,
Right.
but it's
Don't they
still
already have aspirin?
That's cute.
They just close the door or whatever.
Yeah, like just don't talk to anybody. Go to your office
and shut up. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you do have, when you talk about the supposed wage gap, which is not a real thing. I want to be
Right.
clear on that.
Right.
The differences comes out to things like choices, which adds up to things like sick leave and having kids and stuff like that. Stuff that women do have to tend to take more time off for than men do.
Right.
This is something that does kind of lend towards evening that out a little. But again, it's not something I feel that should be in the law, you know?
Right.
Well, I guess it's
It's
okay
such a
if
small
biological
amount of
people can
extra
get payoff
time.
leave. It is, and
It's like, okay, sure.
yeah, it's not like it's not like they're giving a week off every month or something, which, you know, would be totally ridiculous. And it's not like they're mandating it across the world or across the country. It's
People
what
dating it.
company.
People dating it.
Oh, right.
Not
People dating.
mandating.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
here's the thing though, like this, like I think this sets like a weird precedent for like other companies, but also like a company like GOG, and then I guess CD Projekt Red, if they come into this as well, is like I would assume they already have like personal and sick leave. Like your personal sick leave you can use by the hour. So is this a different leave than that, or are they just like
adding an
relabeling
extra day or something?
Right.
I don't know that the article said that. It's just I mean, personally, I just find it interesting. Well, for one, I find it interesting, and as a bunch of men, you guys won't understand this.
God damn my testicles.
The way that it's viewed by men, for one thing, I find that very interesting, just because I saw so many, well, are they going to give us time off if we get the squirts? And it's like, I mean, do you guys have a biological function that
is the squirts are a biological function? Okay.
Hey, look, you know what else? Have you ever popped a boner?
Yeah.
The accidental.
Maybe I need a couple minutes.
Right.
You
It's
know?
rubbing on the pants a little weird. A nice chick walks by. Right. I get it.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
That's
that
a
fire
biological.
Right.
No, but my nipples have gotten hard in the middle of the day, so.
Oh.
So you're for this. Like you
I'm not
think this is a good
necessarily
idea.
for it. But I wouldn't say I'm against it at the same time, you know, as long as it's not a law. I think if a company wants to try to do this kind of thing to attract more women employees or whatever, I don't see a problem.
Right.
It's not, like I said.
Oh, go ahead.
It's
Sorry.
just an interesting approach, one might say.
Yeah. Seems like it'd be like a logistical nightmare. Like if you're adding it on top of like your paid or your personal and sick leave and your vacation, it's like, okay, well you'll get 10 minutes every month and then save that up. And after
that is strange.
Yeah. But
well, then you got the issue of what if somebody says they're bleeding? Are you going to go around and actually check everybody's pants? And
everybody's got to wear khakis now.
Like, no, I see clearly here on the schedule you took your menstruation leave 1 week ago. So
Yeah,
that's
could
not
you
gonna
imagine this
clear.
though? Could you imagine this, Becky? You haven't taken your menstruation leave this month. Are you pregnant?
Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh, see, it could
It
have been.
was
It could have
him
been.
in the printing room. He did
Could have
it.
just been Becky. It could have just been a week, but now you got to take like 3 months.
Yeah,
Look what you
Yeah.
did.
stretching
Yeah.
this. Stop free bleeding in the office.
Oh
Nobody
God,
wants that.
that's just unsanitary. Jesus
That's-
Christ.
It's only a matter of time. Like, is that a thing yet? I feel like that. Like, why hasn't that been a thing? Like, we're going tamponless. Like, we're just going to absorb, like, with our natural fibers in our pants, girl. And it's
Have
like,
you never heard of feminism?
Oh,
Yeah,
like,
it's been going on for a while.
Extreme feminism.
No, there are
No,
people
forget
who
pants,
there are
they just
people who
don't-
do that shit.
They don't
so,
even wear
you know.
clothes. It's the weirdest shit.
oh man, it's just But
Yeah.
you can't. It's like you can't even use like the my grandma died, excuse. It's just like this is one time and that's it. Like you've used up your period. There's no more.
You get 2 grandmas and a period every month.
Yeah,
There you
right.
You get out when your get out of jail free card renews like every 20 or so years.
So yeah, that's an interesting development. Again, it's just I think the weird part is the change in language, and I guess it's the inclusive language that they're using now. We can't just say women because will this be abused by I guess trans
People
women who are
pretending.
like, I'm
Yeah.
menstruating
Yes.
this month. Like that becomes the issue. And is it even a big deal? Like I guess it becomes like a cigarette break for, trans men or trans women.
Mhm.
Sorry. I guess. I
It
don't
is
know.
confusing.
Well,
Yeah.
trans men will use it too because they're bleeding.
Because
That's
Yeah.
pretty much
Oh.
what it is. It's like
Does that stop?
every policy, every
Depends.
single everything they implement is going to be abused by somebody. It's just a
Right.
matter of
Well,
time.
people
really.
abuse regular sick leave policies already anyway. It's not like it'll
That's
be that
true.
different.
I certainly have. I mean, I didn't.
I'd
It's
never
not
admit
recently,
to
not
that.
since he started his current job, not his current job.
Right. Not this job.
Amarada knows me well enough. I go to work sick as a dog. Go back home and say, you know what? I'm going to take this day off and be right back to work the next day.
Seriously.
Oh man. But I guess it makes sense though. But quarterback, you said something interesting. Like, if you're like trans men, doesn't that stop? Would your period stop? I
Yeah.
don't know for sure, but I feel like the hormones would certainly do something.
Yeah, if you're
Eventually.
taking a bunch of testosterone, I feel like it should stop it, right?
Depends on how far you're going with it. But yeah, I mean,
That would
it
suck.
should.
To
I
be
mean,
a dude
but I mean, that's the
and
other
have
thing.
menstruation.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing. You have women who are on birth control that prevent them from having periods, so they don't even need this.
You get the worst of both worlds in that case. You can't out power lift the guy, and then at the same time you didn't
It is
exactly
all the
escape
worst
your-
aspects.
Exactly.
Oh,
If you get
God.
attacked, you're definitely going to go down. You're not defending yourself. It's not going to happen. You can look like it. You can get your tattoos and cut your hair super short, do a buzz cut, but it's not going to help you.
You just run
True.
around looking like Machine Gun Kelly, but at the same time you pretty
Oh,
feminine
God.
like Machine Gun Kelly.
Drinking
So,
each other's blood.
gross.
God, did you see that?
Oh,
So
no.
I
wild,
did.
man.
Adam
As we're,
subjected me to that.
as we're talking about menstruation.
It's for ceremonies or something. Rituals, what she said.
Glad I got
Fair,
called.
she never did specify where she got the blood. So
Oh, come on. Let's be fair,
Oh.
people. It was from her toe, all right? It was from the toe.
Some you guys are killing me. Something's just bad timing. The other day, quick aside, speaking of timing, we're at dinner with my wife and her siblings and their husbands, and
Somebody
she's studying. No, she's studying. That would have been better, honestly.
Okay.
I would have enjoyed that much better.
oh god.
So my wife is studying to be a surgical tech, and
Ooh.
she spends time around the OR, and she gets to monitor some surgeries. So all of a sudden, the food literally drops, and she's like, "Oh my god, the coolest thing I saw! It was called what was it called? Something like a cranial cage or something like that."
Mhm.
So in detail, she starts describing how this child, newborn, about a couple months old, their entire skull fused together. So that's not good for kids, right? You have to,
No.
Right.
they need
Yeah.
the whatever they're
space.
called.
They need to
Right.
grow.
Yeah.
Right.
So their brain, yeah. So they have to go in there manually, like cut across the top, pull their
Ooh.
head forward, backwards, basically slice and dice the skull, put it all back together in. And she's described like, I'm like taking a bite
It
of
was
my,
like
yeah. I'm like,
ting
okay.
ting 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 ting. ting. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so
Drop
glad
my
I wasn't
fork.
eating lobster, honey.
It's like
Yeah. The timing though.
Oh,
yeah.
good grief.
Cool story, but
Doctors.
One has to wonder why dropping food on the floor reminded her of that, though.
yeah.
Oh no! Did you? Oh no!
That reminds me
On
of
the
a
ground.
good story.
Oh man.
No, it's fine. I didn't drop the baby. I just dropped my jaw because it was incredible.
It was so beautiful.
So I get,
It's cool.
speaking of disgusting, awful things, I would like the next thing that we should like move into here, because I want to save the better stuff for later. But I saw this tweet from Matt Walsh. And this is the kind of stuff that I can't stand seeing at this point, because
Desmond, that poor kid.
Disney isn't grooming kids. That's crazy. Why would you say such a thing? And they have these kids, these younger boys dressed in drag. I don't even want to play it because it's so gross, but yeah, I'll just play the little bit of the clip, but they're essentially just coming on. It's very loud. Sorry. Boomer internet. Okay. Guess not. But this is the kind of stuff that, again, it gets me down, because I don't know, like, what is the point? Like, if the
Subversion.
Internet doesn't want you to play this.
yeah,
Good.
and that's fine, honestly. I mean, you can just see it's just stupid. And there's a couple other pieces that kind of go along with this, because it's not just this from ABC. There was another article from Bounding Into Comics talking about Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks, yeah.
Tyra Banks and Discovery Plus's new series about child drag queens opens a disturbing rabbit hole.
Oh no,
Yeah.
you don't want to
Very
read my tweet
disturbing
about that
rabbit
on while we're live.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I mean, yeah. So
Yeah, just don't. But yeah, no. The thing that bugs me about this whole thing is like I grew up with like my uncle was gay. He did drag and stuff like that. Cool. I spent half my life in Atlanta. A lot of people out there do drag. Cool, whatever. I have zero problem with people doing drag. It's when you try to push kids into doing it
Yeah.
right.
that it becomes like an issue for me, because like that the kids are still so young that they haven't even learned most of what they need in order to at least basic function in life.
Right.
And you're teaching them about things that like that they shouldn't know right now. Like, let them find that out for themselves, as opposed to you like throwing it in their face.
I don't know, it's
That's
just,
that's where I stand.
And the weird, I have the same kind of issue with the regular pageants, where they doll up the little kids in these
Yeah.
kind of really sexualized outfits and stuff, and the makeup, and it's the same amount of weird.
It is.
Because
But,
that's
I
when
mean-
you're having a kid like sexually walk out on a stage and like present themselves in whatever clothing it is. It's strange, man. Don't feel comfortable. And then for Disney to continue to do this,
Yeah.
just they keep doing it. They can't stop. Who is in Disney's executive branch that keeps greenlighting this? Because I would like to see them, and I'd want them investigated.
Brian
Yeah, right.
Stelter.
That's
Yeah, and
CNN.
I don't
That's CNN.
but I can't even think of like, I can't even think of a way to play devil's advocate with something like this, because I mean, to me, it just comes back to like, if this stuff is going to exist, it's fine. Like, I don't care if people dress in drag. I've been to a burlesque show. I've been to drag shows there, as an adult, but like it just doesn't seem to be a place in children's lives. And if it's going to be in something like that, the parents need to be the ones explaining it, because they wouldn't be directly exposing them to it necessarily, but a conversation like, oh, like that guy walking down the street, why does that guy look like that? Well, honey, it's because XYZ, and the conversation could be had. But like, again, there's not even, I can't even think of a positive about something like this.
Yeah.
No, there really is no positive. The biggest issue is that so many people are looking for validation outside themselves, and it's really easy to get a kid to validate you. And it's even easier to get a kid to validate you by copying you or by making them think that what you're doing is the thing they need to be doing. And you end up with a really fucked up kid. It's just the same thing as parents who try to live their lives through their kids by forcing them into sports that they may not be interested in, or trying to push them into careers they may not be interested in.
So real quick, just to kind of emphasize on that, pushing kids into sports that they're not interested in. I was fine watching football growing up as a kid. Like that was one of my favorite things, watching like Power Rangers, different TV shows and sports. I watched games left and right, but I didn't want to take part in them. I'm like 11 years old, and I'm probably like maybe like 2'8", weigh about half a stone or something like that. And they my mother put me and my brothers in football, like in the little leagues, and they're handling their own. I'm out there pretty much hyperventilating and dying the whole time and whatever. But like
Little Giants, that little kid.
Pretty much. Yeah, like Little Giants. Like
he runs all the way into the pole and falls down.
Yep. And I think it all boiled to a head. Like my mother realized that I was not going to be a football player when they decided to put my little ass on defensive line like I was going to do something. As soon as that ball left the ground, they pushed like whoever's on the offensive line against me pushed me back like a good 5-6 feet. I'm on the ground hyperventilating, dying, crying at the same time. I actively avoided going to practice at that point from then on. And then my mother was like, all right, we're just not going to sign you up anymore. I was like, cool, I'll stay here and draw.
Great.
And but more to the point, that's pretty much what what that whole mentality is. It's like, I understand that there are people that want to see some kind of success for their kids in a specific aspect or something like that. But it's not the parents' decision to pick what the kid likes. It's the kid's decision. Like, they have a certain interest, let them, indulge in that interest. They'll probably lose interest later, probably won't. We'll see what happens.
Right.
But it's even worse when it's somebody else trying to tell someone else's kid what they should do with their lives. Like, who are you? Do I have to find a box to put you in? Like, is this what we're doing?
And I'm really sick of the celebrity propping this stuff up, and and I feel like that's where people don't question this stuff, and they're like, oh well, Tyra Banks thinks it's cool, so we should reinforce this. And now it's an actual TV series. And
I mean, the sad thing is you do 10 seconds of research on Tyra Banks and you realize she's really a shitty person.
She's terrible. She is so terrible.
I don't know. None of this seems to contribute any real good to society, and it doesn't disparage people who want to do drag. That's not the point. It's the again, it's the grooming of kids. It's exposing them to these weird sexual concepts and confusing them early on, and then what? And this is we talked about it last week. This is the kind of tactic they'll use because there's no measurable physical harm in the moment. So that's how they defend it. Well, what's wrong? We're just teaching them something. And okay, I guess you're right. But down the road, you've planted these seeds that have sprouted into these gnarly weeds that they're so confused. And then we get into the conversation of early transitioning. And now you have to affirm that. And now, and then another couple of years, they're detransitioning because, oh shit, we made a mistake. And, mom,
they were children. They didn't know what they wanted.
Irreparable harm.
Yeah. And
you're right.
Gary, you know this from having kids. I mean, my oldest is almost 5. You can convince kids of nearly anything. If you stood outside, if you took them outside every day and were like, nope, the sky's red, eventually they go, yeah, you're right. I don't know why I saw it differently. It's just they're confused. They're trying to figure life out.
That was blue, but you say it's red. So all right, I guess you know more than I do because you're my parent.
Right.
I believe you. Or you're an adult, so I'm going to believe you.
You're an authority figure, and people keep telling me I'm supposed to believe the authority figures. So therefore, you say it's red. So that is red.
Yeah.
But imagine having so small of a worldview that you need to seek validation from children.
Well, I mean, their
Yeah,
worldview
it's
centers
just-
around sex, so their worldview is already very small.
Right,
Well,
like
It's everything that they have. I am a gay man, or I am a lesbian, or I am a trans this. I am a that like that is their thing. Whenever you go to their bios, what's the first thing they usually put in there? Whatever their sexuality is.
him.
Like I don't give
Yeah.
a shit. I do
Right.
not give a shit. Why do
I
you
don't
care
even
about
look
that?
at bios. I'll be honest. I do not
I
look
do.
at bios on Twitter.
I look.
I don't
just
give a
'cause
fuck.
It's a lot of. It gives you some insight. Whenever you start, you
Okay.
see somebody have a weird take. Gotta go to that. Go to the
No,
bio. You get
wait a
them,
minute.
they,
Now, wait a
thems.
minute. We live in the age of the
Pronouns.
Babylon. Something might be a parody. I got to check this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not
It's
a
hard,
parody.
dude.
I
and
will
even
look to see if
sometimes
it's
the
satire.
description
I
is-
will look to see if it's satire.
it's funny. Like there's a checklist you got to go through when you see those weird takes. It's like, okay, we got a Ukraine flag, we got a pride flag,
and
we
then you're
have
still like,
pro-
well,
right,
still could be.
and then you got to decide whether it's a like parody account. Like
Mhm.
Yep.
the other, I keep getting fooled by some of these accounts because I'm like, their take is so crazy, but I'm like, people actually have these, and then you read a couple lines like,
There was that tweet that went out. It was a photo. It was a photo of a Red Ryder BB gun, or a Daisy
Yeah.
BB gun,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was like, people in America can just get rifles right off the shelf. And I was like, no way, this is a real tweet. No way. I went to the description. First thing, journalist. I was like, all right, it's real.
It's real.
gotta be
It's real.
It's a journalist, of course.
yeah,
Authentic tweet.
Of all the things to
Damn.
call a rifle. Yeah,
A
that
rifle.
rifle with quotation marks. I
Yeah.
mean,
that
that's
was a-
Spring rifle,
my
I
God.
guess. If you want
Oh no,
stretch
that was a
the meaning.
fun. That was one of the funniest tweets this week.
yeah, that was a good one.
That's why I love Twitter, because it's just full of retards.
oh my God, yes.
Well, yeah,
Amazing.
that's I will never leave, and it's crazy to me that people are like, I'm leaving Twitter. It's like, why? The best stuff is on Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what political side you're on. It's just all gold, and like,
It's
Mhm.
fun and games all day long.
yeah,
Mhm.
All hail Elon, king of the retards.
hell
You're
yeah,
welcome.
dude.
King of the autists.
You're
He,
welcome.
he weaponized his autism on Twitter, man.
Oh my God, yes.
He used it to the power. So much he was like, I'm going to give you so much money, you legally cannot deny it.
I think what's even funnier about that is even if
Checkmate.
they did offer that, like he'd be like, all right, well, I'm gonna offer you 44 billion. And they turn it down. He's like, all right, fine, 50 billion, final offer. He's like, nah, we're still not taking it. All right, 200 billion, final offer. It's like I feel like Elon would have just kept pushing until he actually picked it up.
He made his first offer on 420.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is a meme lord.
Oh, he's
Absolute
the
lord.
best, dude. And if you guys notice the background, you can't quite see it, but the background of the stream, I had to put it. He's just,
Oh yeah,
Is it this
yep. Oh, it's the best, man. He is everything he does is amazing. And it's why like it confuses me that people are so up in arms. Like objectively speaking, I mean, of course he's a billionaire. Like how much can you trust people like that? And I've talked with friends and we're kind of under the impression it's like, we'll trust him until we can't anymore. But I mean, between Tesla and SpaceX and his outspoken, him being so outspoken on free speech on Twitter, like, I mean, the guy just seems to want to do good for humanity, in my opinion. So
That's what it's like. I don't want to put all my faith into him because I think that's a
No.
bad idea to do.
Same.
And to like, oh, thank you, God, King Elon, out of
Right.
sincerity. But if you do it tongue in cheek, it's totally fine.
right.
But I don't know him, so I don't know. This could be a Trojan horse. This could be somebody coming in and using people that want to be free, and then using that as a way to get more power or something. But I will say, from all the things that I've seen him do over time, it all seems to be things that are, one, interesting,
Mhm.
and two, things that move humanity forward in a positive way. Like, let's
Right.
try and invent an electric car that is affordable eventually for everybody to have. That's pretty cool. Let's go to space. Let's colonize Mars. Let's do that. Like I said on Adam's show earlier, they made fun of him. They thought he couldn't do it, and then he did it.
Right.
They thought he couldn't buy Twitter. Then he did it. Like
Right.
he's doing a lot of good stuff, and I've not seen him do anything that I don't like.
Well, and arguably his
far,
the base Tesla model is affordable, isn't it? Well, I think at one point wasn't it like
comparable
35K or something,
Yeah.
or even 40K? Like at that price, I mean, it's pretty approachable by most people. So he's revolutionized that whole thing, and he's made it
a lot of different areas, and then he moved to Texas because he couldn't get done what he wanted to get done in California. He wanted to build the super train, that bullet train thing between where was it, San Diego, and it was one of the one of the two commie cities, and they wouldn't let him do it because there was so much so much red tape. He couldn't even do it. So he was like, "Screw this! I'll go to Texas where I can do shit."
There you go.
So he's pretty base, and
he's a problem solver. I mean, like a legit problem solver. Like there's an issue, we want to get it done. He's going to do it, and even this, like it's not guaranteed. Like you said, I still don't trust him fully, but I certainly trust him way more than any other billionaire out there.
More than Bezos.
Oh,
fucking
that's
way
Lex
more
Luthor.
than that.
What do you mean? You can never trust Lex Luthor.
There he is, right there.
Oh God, that Jesus.
But so you have bonehead remarks.
So much for being committed to free speech,
I
moron.
can't make your ears bleed with my stupidity, so you're not for free speech. Jesus.
They just have zero clue that this is not like. There's a huge difference between someone turning you out or tuning you out and someone saying you do not have the ability to relax speak.
Yeah. Shutting down your free speech would be Elon going up into the servers and going, Mr. Public Citizen is now banned or shadow banned from saying anything on Twitter. That would be blocking it. Him just going, yeah, well, I'm just not going to listen to you. That's not the same thing. Go learn what free speech is, man. I'm so sick of words not being used in the correct way.
Right.
It's so tiring.
Well, because I mean, and this is again the other tactic, right? Is that if everything is subjective, we can just change that. Like like men and women aren't even
kids. If they're subjective, they can be drag queen whatever's.
Right.
we can mold them into whatever we want. If men and women are, there's birthing people and menstruating people, and we have no definition for what a woman is.
Bullshit. I'm not a biologist, but I'll tell you regardless. As a woman. That's a woman.
Like there, and then, oh man, this was probably my favorite thing. As soon as I saw this tweet, the Daily Wire put it out, and I was like, this is what I'm talking about.
This fucking guy.
Let me just tell you what we're already doing.
Right.
Let me map out exactly what Twitter has done for the last 5 years straight. It's Elon that's gonna do it.
The way this is framed is pretty much like, oh God, Elon has the keys. We need to make sure that nobody knows what we were up to. We just throw everything we did on him.
Right.
How did he say this with a straight face?
I don't know, dude. Like honestly, this guy deserves an Oscar. He needs an Oscar. Get him on the podium. I need to hear a speech.
No, he doesn't need an Oscar. He get his Oscar. Yeah, Will Smith's gonna smack him if he gets an Oscar.
They pull him off the street. Does he have no clue what he's talking? He's just like, what? You want me to read the words on the? Okay, what? Elon, he could shut down elections. That would be crazy. That would never happen on the internet, right? Okay.
I have
my $5 now.
This no, he's from San Francisco. They just gave him like a bunch of heroin. We're like, good job.
Sweet fentanyl.
They promised him that.
Or crack for the crackhead.
The balls on this fucking news outlet, man. On MSNBC, these guys have some balls to sit there and say this, because everyone who was like, over the past 5 years between the election and all that, we were just like, something's not right. Something's happening. And it's like, no, shut it down. Hunter Biden, forget about it. Nothing's
happening. Okay, it's all in your brain. You're a fucking conspiracy theorist. None of this is happening. You're crazy. Everything's
Take off
working
your
how it should.
tinfoil hat.
All of a sudden, now they're like tinfoil hat on. They can shut down elections.
And this is
Oh,
exactly
wait.
why I call them projectionists, because
I
they're
thought we were the
always
crazy ones.
projecting their wrongs, their motives onto everybody else. It doesn't matter what it is. If they think that if they do it, or if they want to do it, they immediately project it, assuming everybody else wants to do it.
Right. And one of the issues too is like you have the interesting like paradox of Twitter is like the people who are on it and who are like using it as legitimate information gathering, like we know how to like sift through the bullshit. A lot of people don't. So there is a lot of shitty information out there. But like, again, over the past couple of years, all of us who are keyed in on certain things and who read past like the editorialized headlines, like we understand what's happening. So we speak out on it and we look like the crazy people because, you know, the certain political ilk doesn't like they report things totally opposite. And then they have the power to come out and say this. And now we're just like, all right, well, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah, like, where you been, dude? Where you been? We've been saying this forever. And I said this on Adam's show. This is one avenue that they got shut down on. Elon had enough money to come in. I love that. Thanks, Elon is trending right there. He had enough money to come in and buy out one avenue. You still have Google and all its subsidiaries, the YouTube. You still have Instagram, Facebook,
Disney,
TikTok, and then that's just social media. So then you have Disney. Then you have Universal, you have Sony, you have
Comcast,
all of the Comcast,
all these people,
all that shit. They still have all those avenues, one avenue, and you take away one of their little pillars of power, and they freak the fuck out because they know they have built their house of cards on sand, and if you take out a little bit of it, people are gonna go, oh shit, this whole time it's been manipulated.
Yeah. The House of Cards on sand is probably one of the best like ways to put it, because that's exactly what's happened. And now Elon basically kicked up a windstorm. So
he took a fucking leaf blower.
He took that same flamethrower he was throwing off.
Like, and then this was the next best. Like first it was the MSNBC, and then I saw this, and color me surprised that the geniuses over on The View had to say that Elon's given, you know, because of this free speech, now it's free speech for white men, for straight white men.
Now, I mean,
sorry everyone.
It's free speech for everyone. White men are the worst. Good grief. That narrative, it's funny because every time there is anything that is any kind of like it rubs them the wrong way, anything, let's tie it to race somehow. Like, why? What does race have to do with this?
That is all I know. That is all I know.
They need that new. They need that new update. That's what it is. That new firmware update. But
everything just leads back to racism.
It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous how you can tie everything back to racism and Gamergate. Always the two. I don't know how, but they do it. And then it's always, toxic white men or straight white men or this, that, and the other. And I'm sitting here like, who wronged you? What straight white man wronged you so horribly? Like, did Purple Man come through and just tell you to do things like he did Jessica Jones? Like,
I think,
like, is this how it is?
I think it all just leads back to Kevin Bacon. I think if we just blame Kevin Bacon,
come on,
69 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Come on,
like,
Tremors is good.
I mean, he is a straight white man, so
that's right.
I think it's
it
just
all
his
goes
fault.
Back to straight white men.
Oh,
I don't know. The race thing is tiring for people like us, because we're just like, we'll try and sit and like have an actual like conversation about like something that's going on, something in the world, and then someone's like, well, if it wasn't for 300 years of slavery, and we're just like, what the fuck? Like, really? Like, this is what we're coming back to? Like, it's
get over it.
And there was it was, I think it was a couple shows ago, and I mentioned this as well. It was like, what? Well, like 400 years or 300 years, whatever, how many years they want to apply to that is like, were you in the chains with them? Like,
yeah, right.
Did you Did you grow up in the plantation with the rest of them? Because if not, shut up. It seems like you got it pretty good in comparison.
Yeah.
Right. And I would say, it's not to disparage the people who I think have actually experienced some sort of oppression. I'm sure it exists around.
Everybody does.
Right. But the idea that it's a systemic issue is tiring. I'm so sick of hearing. I was like, what? Like, there's plenty of people out there who have made a life for themselves. I mean, for fuck's sake, we had Obama as a president not 8 years ago or whatever it is now. Like what? Like, why?
We just had two giant stars. Okay, in their time, they were both giant stars. Have a slap fight on national television. Black people could do whatever they want to do in America. Okay, I do not believe there's any facet of American culture that you cannot be a part of in the modern day. I always think about this. I had to take a weird class about business, and I found this out. The CEO of McDonald's, the largest fast food chain of all time, it's infected everybody all across the world.
Wendy's is better.
They're fries, dude. I can't believe you just say that. Anyway,
the blasphemy.
Blasphemy. Anyways, the CEO for a long time was a black man, and he started as a janitor in McDonald's and worked his way all the way up to CEO. He's a black man. Okay, so you can't. He was in, and this was like the early 2000s. Okay, so that was before the dark times, before all of the millennials figured out that history happened.
Sounds like
do whatever they want. Okay,
sounds like a tap dancing. No.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well, and how is that? Like, how funny is that too? Like, because I agree with you, Garrett. I 100% agree. Like, these are, and you find these cases everywhere. It's not just, it's not just like a one-off, once a decade. Like, they're everywhere. I follow a lot of great people on Twitter who are just, their stories are very similar. Like, they started somewhere, in poverty, and they worked themselves up. That, they had to do a lot of after school stuff, and even people who were down a dark path for a while, and then later in their adulthood, pulled it through. Like, these are things that just people ignore. And it's a tired argument, in my opinion. And it's doing way more harm than good. And for some reason, people allow it to continue. I
feel like it's something to constantly browbeat you into submission, ultimately, with thinking that you're lesser than. My country thinks that I am a slave. Ultimately down, they think I'm a slave. They won't let me do anything. Then you just live with that mentality forever. I know people that do it. They live with that mentality and go, well, I can never get any better than this, so I'll just do this forever. They don't think you should be told, regardless of the past, that was horrible. I disagree with it. I wish we never did it, but we did it. We're here now. I can't think of another social group that is more engrossed in Americana, than the black half of our country. Like, think about all the way back to, it was horrible, but we're so connected. I would say almost more than any other. There's like Italians and Irish and then Chinese and Japanese, but they all came later. A lot of it was real early, engrossed in American history. So at this point, it sucks, but I would take that as a win. Okay, we take it as a win. You made it through. And you're becoming presidents. You're becoming CEOs. You're becoming pop stars at the top level. Massive movie stars. People look up to you. We have overcome. Okay, we have overcome. Now it's time to just live and stop dwelling on the past like they do. But I can go on that shit for forever.
Right.
You too?
And especially now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say, like, especially now, like, there's never been an easier time to be a self-made man or woman, self-made person. Right. Like, it's people go on TikTok and talk nonsense, and they're making money hand over fist, and they're legit lying to you, and they're making millions of dollars. Like,
funniest part about that is that there are TikTokers out there who have outed themselves in the process too, of like talking with people like Jen Psaki as far as like what they should be telling the public. It's like, You can make money being a mouthpiece. Race be damned, gender be damned. You can make money simply saying exactly what it is the government wants you to say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is to make money. And people are complaining about some of the dumbest things that have no bearing over their lives. Like, what are we doing?
I
What are
get-
y'all
I
doing?
get-
Sorry.
People need
I'm
to
good.
wake up and realize that it is not the government. It's not this big, scary white supremacy that's keeping them from getting their goals. It is themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and people's complete lack of faith in themselves for sure, and it goes back to, and people have talked about it for a lot. Oh God, they've talked about it a lot over the past couple of years. How there's culture has been just eroded so much, and a lot of times in Black communities and in the inner cities, largely due to policies established years ago that just keeps people, it literally keeps like the boot on the neck, and coupled
Invisible chains.
right.
It's invisible chains that are putting you back into slavery. It's just called something else. The massa, he gave you a house, he gave you food, he gave you clothes. What do they do now? The government gives you a house, it gives you clothes, it gives you a job, it gives you a fucking Obama phone. It's the same
Give you
shit.
food. They give
Crack
you
pipes.
food.
Don't forget the crack pipes.
The crack
And the
pipes
crack
too.
pipes.
Yeah, and the
And
crack
crack
pipes.
But
they do give you food. It's just in the
Sorry, I
form
didn't mean
of
to
like
cut you up, Swag.
Hey,
No,
look, man, it's
Shaggy.
all good. It's all good.
well, that's
Shag.
because I do think it is partially government, because again, they're because you do have a portion of government, and both, I mean, Republicans and Democrats that will, often push these policies that do keep people sort of stuck to that government teat.
Mhm.
And, I think less so Republicans, but I mean, without a doubt, Democrats, it's what's the
only
word I'm
thing they
looking
have.
for? Right. And that begs the question is well, why are all the, you have all these countries who are in turmoil and we're just like, yeah, let's bring all these immigrants over. It's like, what's
That
the plan
doesn't
for
help
them? Is that
Yeah.
their
It doesn't
voter
help
base?
at all. It's so
Well, it
dumb.
helps them because it helps them because
More low information voters come
Right.
on over.
exactly.
No, so we can
because the
get another-
Democrats brought us over, not the
gonna-
evil Republicans.
So then we're going to get another 4 years of the refurbished animatronic covered in year-old mayonnaise.
Oh, God, yes, probably.
Corn Pop is bad dude.
It's a bad man.
Man.
Oh, it's the
They
Easter
rub the
Bunny.
hairs on my leg.
Rub the hairs on my leg.
Used to sit on my lap. Kids love sitting on my lap.
I used to think,
Oh, that's
That
my
video is
favorite one. That's my
hilarious.
favorite one.
and I used to think that Bush was hard to listen to, and then Biden came along and was like, "Hold my beer."
He was like, hop a dang licking beer. And then you're like, what? He's like,
Oh my God.
You saw where the Easter Bunny
Oh,
redirected
the Easter
him.
Bunny.
Here's a
trying to
question
shake
for you
hands
guys.
with a ghost.
How long?
Where am I?
Well, he has to acknowledge his voters.
There you go.
Oh,
How long before we get a Hunter Biden movie directed by Quentin Tarantino?
2 days.
I
Oh,
would
God, I
can you
wish.
just see it? That would be an amazing movie. He would,
love to
Fantastic.
see that. Saying N-words all over the place.
right?
You get some guy in there talking about masks. You got to wear your mask all day, and he
We
starts
play Fauci.
firing off at the hip.
Mhm.
Oh my
It's
God.
Buscemi. Buscemi's playing Fauci. 100%.
Yes.
Buscemi.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Wear your mask,
Oh,
fellow
though.
kids. Bang. Yes.
No. He'd have to be played by that midget. He's too tall. Buscemi's too
Oh,
tall.
Peter
Yeah, that's
Dinklage?
true. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God.
They
Yeah,
could
did you
do
see
some
that?
Lord of the Rings type camera work.
You're right. You're
Right,
right. They
yeah.
could. You could.
Right.
We'll bring Willow back from the dead. We'll see what we can do.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. What's his name?
Oh, is he?
No, I'm pretty
Warwick.
sure he died.
Yeah,
Warwick died.
Warwick. Yeah. What the hell's his last name? I forget. But yeah, Warwick's still alive.
Davis.
Warwick Davis,
He's
yeah.
still alive.
I'm
He's
pretty
alive.
sure.
Uh-oh.
He's the one who played the leprechaun too.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
His HBO show was great. I don't know if
Because
you
they're
guys ever
doing
watched
another
Life is Too
Willow.
Short.
They're doing another Willow, and he's still
Doesn't mean he's still
definitely
alive.
Oh, he's really hard up for work, huh?
No, like
got
he did
you,
like a
Warwick
promo video for it.
Oh, okay.
Davis.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
guess he is. Then who died?
Gary Coleman.
No, it was a white one.
Mini-Me died.
Vern
Oh,
Troyer?
Vern Troyer. Yeah.
Oh,
Vern
okay,
Troyer
that's where I
died.
got
Oh,
Yeah,
that
confused.
makes
Okay.
sense. Sorry, Peter Dinklage, didn't mean to belittle you. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to belittle you.
Saw what you did there.
Oops. Oop. Sorry for my shortcomings.
That's a little too much.
Oh.
We're on a roll here.
At least it's not shortbread.
Yeah.
Fair.
I did want to share this. So it's one more tweet by Elon because I thought it was just another class act by him. Again, you know, it's hard to tell sometimes when he's trolling, but I feel like he was being pretty genuine here with this. I hope that even my worst critics remain on Twitter because that is what free speech means. And I think that's why that's why he's just, I think he's a good man. Like, I think he understands that like this platform probably won't change that much, you know, but he's like, I want people like left, right, center, all of you guys who are on this platform to enjoy and say what you want. You're not always going to like what you hear, but that's part of the gig. And, you know, people's inability to understand what that actually means, you know, what do you guys think about the whole thing? Do you think it will change the platform that much? Or do you think it's just going to be sort of business as usual for?
I'll be honest, I don't have much hope. I don't. I think realistically, Twitter's doomed to die at some point because I don't think Twitter's the way forward. I mean, unless he decides to go through and absolutely change it into something else, we're reaching the point in the ecosystem where it's about time for something new to come and kind of move us to the next step in the internet because Twitter ain't it. And so unless he's planning to do something, and he could be because God knows he's Elon Musk, that will take us to the next step because Meta's obviously the metaverse thing's obviously not going to go anywhere.
Anywhere. That's just like Google Stadia.
Dead in the water.
Social media.
But
I think it's on its way. Like things like Meta may
Yeah.
eventually work, but I don't think Meta is going to work.
Okay.
It's too cringe. It still looks too cringe.
Well, and it's made by Zuckerberg, and let's face it.
Yeah.
That man, yeah.
Sweet baby Rays.
Sweet baby Rays. Sweet baby Rays is my favorite upgrade.
All humans have Sweet Baby Rays in their living room.
I would have put Sweet Baby Rays in my background just because. Just like a Sweet Baby Rays. Just right there.
Move it every week so people have to look for it.
The local barbecue. I gotta change my name now.
Yep, you sure do.
But yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily going to be that big of an impact. And then you have to remember Twitter's not real life. So
For some it is.
For some people, it's their only life because they have no life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting, but I don't know that it's going to be world changing.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Like I personally, I think there will be like, you know, some minor changes, like we'll finally get an edit button or something like that. But I don't think it's going to be anything like drastic. The most I can see happening is people don't get canceled for calling someone else like, you know, the R word or something to that degree, because they're at the end of it all is just words. It's not misinformation. It's just insults. And insults are
things like trans women aren't women.
Yeah, pretty much. Sarah Gonzalez on a tear. Shouts out to her.
Yeah, she's on fire.
Oh God,
Well,
yeah.
Even if it was misinformation, like that's again, it shouldn't be restricted. Like you should just be smart enough to know.
In
what's
fairness, there's already misinformation. They just want their misinformation.
Oh well, yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's my hope. And my hope is
election.
My hope is that we will just see less suppression of thought and stories that will affect large things. Because as much as I agree with you, Horror, is that Twitter is not real life, but a lot of fucking people and a lot of big institutions believe that it is, and they go off with information from Twitter as if it is real life. So they end up making Twitter real life in their actions of believing that it is real life. And I'm talking places like giant corporations like Disney going off of data. People every day we see articles. They're throwing a bunch of racism at the new America Chavez. Who?
Right.
Nobody.
Left.
Maybe
The
three
left.
people. Three people.
No, it was the left. It was
It
the
was
left
the
who
left.
did it.
It was the left. But it's like what 1,000 people at
Yeah.
most.
Right.
On a platform that has millions and millions of users, but they hone in on that. So my hope is that whatever, like we saw a lot of manipulation in this last couple of years. I'm not going to say what because we're on YouTube and you still can't say stuff on YouTube.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying. Several
Yes.
things that involve casting certain things and maybe getting certain things and taking certain things that you were not allowed to talk about.
Right.
So
Important
a lot
life
of these
decisions.
things, right? And important government decisions were made and manipulated by things curated on Twitter. So my hope is that it's just not going to be curated and it'll be left to its own devices. You know, kind of like the old internet. You know, just like, hey, this is a message board where people can just shoot out one-liner jokes and make fun of each other and have their political takes, but it's not affecting actual reality like it should not be doing.
Right.
Or if it does, it's affecting actual reality because people got both sides of the story and made up their own mind.
Right. Well,
True.
people went out with an even amount of knowledge. Jack Dorsey actually said that Twitter is, and I agree with him, Twitter is the closest thing to a global consciousness. So like the idea of I can have a thought, send it, and then you can read my thought. That is what
Right.
Twitter is.
Yes.
So
And that's why-
imagine you can manipulate that shit and change everybody's thought by just not letting them see certain things in the world, not letting
Right.
them think certain words, not letting them have certain opinions. That's horrible. So I hope that it's just back to the way it should be, a message board.
Well, that's also like the point you made about it, like being, you know, one person's thought back and forth, you know, right? Like that's why the edit button is the stupidest thing they could do. If Elon implements an edit button, it's like there's no point. There's already Twitter Blue. Like Twitter Blue, you can essentially do that. It just basically makes it a draft for 30 seconds or something like that.
I'm not
That
about
would
to
not help
pay.
me.
I'm not about to pay Twitter to correct my to be able to correct my mistakes. Forget that.
Oh hell no! I'll just sound like a pirate for the rest of my life.
That's the only reason I would want an edit button, because if anybody knows me well enough, if I put a tweet out like information, misinformation, whatnot, it stays there. I'm not trying to change anything. If I have a thought, I'm throwing it out there. I just want to correct my fucking typos. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That shit's annoying. Somebody hits me with the URL. I'm like, God.
I think that if you did an edit button, there's a lot of issue with people saying a fucking retarded thing and then going back and changing it to something else.
I like the way Gab did it, in that they have the edit button, but you can see the previous edits. So if they totally changed it, then you can see it.
Yeah,
that
needs to be
Discord
transparent.
You have an issue with people actually going back and reading it, but you know.
But at least you still have the
proof's there if you want it. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I can't stop from typoing, man. Give me 30 seconds of a draft. That ain't helping me, man. Because I'll tweet something and then be like, yeah, that was a pretty good tweet.
Well, at the end of it all,
and then oh shit.
That's exactly
at the end of
what
it all,
happens
you gotta realize that at the end of it all, good information, bad information. One thing we can confirm is that there is a casting couch in Hollywood. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I was just like, I'm kind of in agreement with a lot of you guys, and I think the beauty of
including the casting couch.
Oh, absolutely. Okay.
I just want to make sure.
We found
okay, cool.
Right. Yeah, I think the best part of Twitter is that it's a place where everyone can be, right? It's become someone in chat says they come at like de facto town square, and it's a place where people can share their thoughts. And part of, I mean, sometimes I make some like really egregious like typos on my tweets, and I feel really stupid. But like that's also part of the point, right? It's like, that's just my thought process. You're seeing it in real time. But also allows me to see, like, with, you know, if this is going to be a free speech platform, or as close as possibly can, I can see the people I don't want to see, you know, like even if it's the crazy person in the town square, now I know to avoid them. you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And-
I
and-
know what horrible takes are out there because of Twitter.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Twitter.
I thought it would just be normal people having normal takes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You'd think that the world was normal as opposed to
Insane.
yeah.
the world's definitely insane.
The world is definitely on. It's definitely burning.
Just saying I'm doing my job. Gotcha.
It is. And something I'll say,
Yeah.
one point I'll make is like, again, it's sort of like, I do believe there are parts of it for sure. I mean, 2 years ago, we watched some of the cities burn. But like,
Literally.
Yeah.
the,
Summer of love.
right. I do think that for the most part, like there's some truth to what we were saying about Twitter not being the real world and it being the real world. But like, I mean, when I was at work the past couple of days, like no one mentioned Elon. No one talked about it. I work with a bunch of kids. I work with younger kids. None of those kids were talking about it. No one, I'm pretty keyed in. I usually work directly with them. And no one's talking about that. No one's talking about like grooming stuff. And even in like my neighbors and stuff, like it's not something they come over and like, hey, did you see that thing on ABC with their, they're dressing up the boys as girls and blah, blah, blah. Like there's not a whole lot of people keyed into that, but it's important that we know it's there, because when we do come across it, we have to be like, oh God, okay, it's not just here. It's, there's other people experiencing this all over. But it's important, people, like if we're going to correct culture, if we're going to try and steer the ship back to normal, that we do the best we can locally. And this is something I talk about all the time with you guys, is like, we got to concentrate on our families, like, our kids, our loved ones, the immediate family. Cause that's where you spread good culture, with your neighbors on your block. That's where you're spreading good culture.
Yeah. 100%.
You're not going to do it. You're not going to do it all that much on Twitter. Like you could certainly have a good, like, iron in the fire, I guess, depending, but the real difference is going to be made through your lifetime with your children. And that if we can understand that here, and the people in chat and, anyone who watches the VODs, like this is where we're going to do it. It's going to take a while, but this is how we correct the ship and steer it back. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100%, man. Because that's what they want, to separate you from that thought process of your family, of what you can do with your people. They want to be like, oh no, it's the Ukraine thing, it's the Russian thing, it's the Russia collusion, it's the dossier over here, it's not a laptop. There's no laptop. Oh wait, there is a laptop. But it's way after the fact. Not the top. They don't want you thinking about the fact that you can actually make a difference in your own family, and then that will make a difference down the line.
Right.
But yeah, 100% focus on that.
That's pretty much what it is. They're just putting horse blinders on or attempting to put horse blinders on everybody. It's like, no, your focus should be where I direct you to, not to, the side or anything like that. They don't want you to be like, an untrained horse in that aspect. They want you to be, they want you to do what they tell you to do. And, when you don't, then you're being belligerent. You got to get put down in some way.
Right.
And be it in a box or be it by, getting all your getting Bad Boys 4 canceled. They'll do it.
Bad Boys 4 canceled?
I don't know if it's canceled, but it's definitely shelved for right now.
Damn.
Wait,
I like Bad
Boys 3.
Dude, there's Bad Boys 3. Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life was the third one.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I mean, I have a few little nitpicks with it because, like it changed Will Smith's character to being like really reliant on this person that was never created before. First time we heard about it, literal line was, this woman created me, like made me the person I am.
Wait, was their name Jada Pinkett?
No, but she was the villain.
I knew it.
But it was a pretty good movie otherwise. Anyways, what you were saying.
So we have plenty of villains in this world, but we have a couple of heroes. And
I'm one of them.
You are.
Local hero here. Hello.
First right now,
local baby Rays.
Local baby Rays right now. Y'all know me as a local hero though. Hello.
X to doubt. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
You want me to do it? Okay, fine.
Ronnie boy down in Florida, knowing what to do. I saved this and wanted to just bring it up and talk about it because I think he's definitely well, I think he's positioning himself for a presidential run. I think that's pretty obvious at this point.
Mhm.
I think he's doing a bang up job down there and keeping things together. And this is just another, keeping taxpayer dollars away to, to teach kids to hate your country and hate each other. And I think this tweet was pretty clear and concise. And I think that's the point. And we were just sort of kind of coming off that with our previous segment. Like, what's happening is kids are being taught at a very early age to not respect their parents and to hate the country that they live in. And that is causing this cultural erosion. It's causing people to go on TikTok, self-diagnose with God knows what. And
Tinnitus.
I do have tinnitus though.
Excuse me.
Oh, well,
I mean, so do I. But
what is it that they're self-diagnosing with alopecia and bonitis and bonquisha and all of that stuff?
I got bamboozleitis.
Bamboozleitis.
Bamboozled.
I got the swindleitis. This swindle disease.
Can't stop
The
getting swindled.
taxitis.
There you go. Oh yeah, and I keep breaking out of the taxation. I don't understand why.
What are your guys' thoughts on DeSantis? Are you guys like? I mean, we've talked about him before.
I mean, he's a
DeSantis lot.
politician.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
true. There's like can't get any really higher than a certain level.
It's like
as a politician.
there's that one side of you that's just like, okay, at least you're speaking out against the political norm that is control. But at the same time, you got there somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of skeptical. That's why I got this picture. Kind of skeptical.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's obviously not going to be afraid to use the government to take the steps that he thinks he wants, which is still, advocating for taxation and stealing money from us and doing things that other people don't necessarily agree with that money. And
Right.
that's just something you have to unfortunately accept with politicians, because totally different rant that I won't get into right now. But he is taking steps that I can admire, things like not using tax dollars to teach kids to hate each other.
Right.
I am totally behind that. The schools should not be telling kids that they are worse or better than their peers based on anything at all. And that just disgusts me so much. Really,
what I can
pisses
say
me
is
off.
I'm kind of proud though, because Florida man then came up. I mean, at one point in time, he was eating faces and sneaking into sandwich shops, making sandwiches and sleeping in there. Now he's out here being a politician. He really cleaned himself up. I'm proud of him. Shouts out to Florida man.
Yeah, you're right about too. Like politicians are politicians, but with the recent move with Disney and sort of essentially,
I've got mixed feelings on that.
Right.
So.
And that was one of those things we talked about last week, and I think that was a bit of overreach on his part. So he's not afraid to play politician when he needs to, but he certainly seems like one of the more real down to earth people who seems like he is keyed in on what his what his
kind of has a
want.
finger on the pulse.
Right, exactly. And I think that's important. I just wonder how, if he does do a 2024 run, like how does what he's doing now transfer to, the presidency? Like what does that look like? And I don't know.
I mean, if you want my honest answer right now, it scares me how much we focus on the presidency. It really does, because instead of focusing on who's president, you should be focusing who's your mayor, who's on your school board, even who's in your local state representative. I really am not one. Shouldn't be talking, because I have no idea who represents my area for my state Congress. I have no idea. I do know who the mayor is, and he's a piece of shit, but that's an entirely separate issue again. But and that's, I mean, obvious. Well, yeah, there's that point. I can't vote for the mayor either because technically I live just outside of town. But again, that doesn't keep the policies they make from affecting me again. But instead of everybody gets so hyper focused on who's president, when I mean even just stepping down and looking at who's in Congress and who's in the House would be more effective than trying to elect just who's president, because the president really shouldn't have as much power as he's been wielding, which is
way less.
scary. And
my stance is and I'm gonna sound like a parrot in this aspect, but just start with taking down federal government. Just like that, when you give that much I guess control to like one specific group over an entire nation like that, that's very dangerous. Like just get rid of the federal government, take it back down to the state.
Yep.
And once people realize, oh wait, we didn't need this big overlord guy telling us what to do, this, that, and the other, people will start to realize that, okay, maybe I do have a lot more, agency over myself. And then you can take it further down from there. We can get back to a society, a living, I guess you could say, a society where people know that they don't have to look out. They don't have to look to go, daddy government, can you give me a handout kind of thing.
Right.
Just go right back to self-sufficiency. Like we got here somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's
the problem is, I was going to say is the problem is like DeSantis, like right now what he did with Disney is he just removed all of the special privileges that Disney had.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like, oh, this is a horrible overstep of his thing, and he's using his power to shut down somebody's opinion. But all he did was really like look at it and go, whoa, wait, I didn't even realize, he said this, I didn't realize that Disney had all these extra benefits. They really shouldn't be having these. So I'm just going to remove them.
I think it's they shouldn't be having these that bothers me, because we should all have those freedoms.
We should, but we don't. And Disney was the only one. So he's like, all right, I'll just take them away from Disney. I do think like, everybody should be able to fucking make whatever they want on their property. But we don't live in that world yet. Because we've been pushed down.
I'm about to shut out my window at whatever government politician, whatever is listening. Hey,
it's my money.
Let me do what I want it now. Exactly.
We've been pushed down this like crazy road so far that to even try and go back, we would then have to be doing that, like overstepping our rights to go back, because they've pushed us inch by inch by inch by inch by inch. And now we're 5 miles down the road, and to turn around would be so hard to do. So I think that's like the problem with him. Like whenever he does stuff like that, is it seems like it's a crazy overstep, but we've been overstepped in the other direction so many times that I don't know. It kind of justifies it for me. But I mean, that's like we got to stop playing the game to be, which sucks, to be like principled and upstanding, and we're like, we got to stick with these things because they don't play by those rules, and we can't play against cheaters fairly and expect to win, because they're going to cheat and win, and that's what they're doing. They want to win, so they're going to win, and they're going to do whatever it takes. We saw it happen, whatever it takes to win. So I like with Elon, it's a great step forward to try and mitigate the cheating.
Right.
It's a great step forward. But we do need somebody that'll push the boundaries, kind of like what DeSantis does, is push those boundaries and go, well, let's fucking go this way. Let's not go in that way. I'm going to go this way. Right. And then, get the criticism, whatever it is. And sure, some of it's probably warranted. But at least we're fucking fighting against that, because I'm sick of getting pushed. And if it's against Disney, fuck them.
That's fair. Look, I can agree there. Disney fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say Disney didn't deserve it. I absolutely.
So many different reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's like it all like kind of comes back full circle with Elon and this big move with acquiring Twitter the way he did, because if he's able to influence Twitter or fix Twitter's like sort of core algorithm and keep like news moving and not just focusing on one side or the other, now like someone like DeSantis comes in and actually has like, you know, if he does run, good policies, imagine we had this when Trump was in office. Like, I'm not necessarily
no
a fan.
There'd be no, but Biden wouldn't. He wouldn't even be in the runnings.
He would have been gone, dude.
It would just been. I don't know. It's just so this is the beginning of the shift, and hopefully stuff like this can influence other people to do something. And I don't know if the answer is like a bunch of billionaires acquiring giant companies. Probably not.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think that's it at all.
No,
I don't think there's a lot of billionaire Elons. I think he's a
He's
diamond
a lifetime.
I would say
and
the next closest.
he's not even as great as you know. I mean, he's great on this issue. There's others issues he's not so good on. So
I would say like the next closest billionaire Elon, who isn't even really a billionaire, I guess you could say, would be Keanu Reeves, because the man goes out and does things just because. Like, he'll help out.
Kind.
Yeah, he like Keanu will go out and do things just because, as opposed to doing something because people want him to, or as opposed to virtue signaling or anything like that. He does things discreetly, and people never know it until somebody else says, "Oh yeah, Keanu did this." He's just like, "Well,
give us all Rolexes for fun," you know? Like,
exactly.
When people do things without the, and that was a big thing. And I think Jordan Peterson talked about this, about how the reason all of this activism is so bad right now is because it totally takes away from the actions that are happening. Someone puts a mask on their Twitter profile picture, or, you know, all the stuff in public that, like, hey, I'm an ally, I'm this, you know, woo. It's like what you're doing you've just totally negated all the goodwill that you supposedly put out there.
It's almost like there's a book called the Bible that talks about stuff like this, where they talk about doing good deeds and not expecting and not boasting about doing good deeds.
Yeah.
That's the difference between somebody like Keanu Reeves and somebody that goes out here like Will Smith and talks about all this. Oh, we're going to be better people. We got to be better people. But if you make a simple joke, I'm going to smack you in front of millions of people.
Now, the one thing I can say, like, if you're not reading the Bible to pull like some kind of, like, you know, more of like a morally sound lifestyle out of it, pick it up, because it's got some really cool, like, stories in it. It's like
100%.
He's got God powers fighting God powers. You got people
Revelation, bro, is like,
come on now. Like, these stories
I want an MCU level series of movies about the Revelations. Like, that would just be so
hell
epic
yes.
and awesome.
Start a manga right now.
I believe in Jesus. I believe in the principles that he set forth. I believe in a lot of things in the Bible that they say to live by. And if you don't, that's cool. But you got to admit that they kind of work. They kind of work. The principles work. So if you don't believe it, that's fine. That's good for you. We're cool.
Yeah.
But the principles work. Be kind to one another. And the actual principles in the book. I don't want to hear about Catholic Church and this church over here.
Blah,
And these humans that have fucked it up. I'm talking
Yep.
about the principles themselves to live by. They work. They are good. And they built this country. I mean, you can't deny it. They built this country, and the principles behind what built this country. So
right, not even this country, but just the world. Like, just look at, all what people talk about as like moral good, right? Like, those are principles you could pull from a lot of different religions, right? And it's the original text, right? Like like some of the first things were ever written down were those stories. Certainly as it pertains to us, for sure, like Christianity was like sort of the foundation that like built this country. But I think a lot of the world has been, there's some parts of the world that are a lot more fucked up than others as far as religion goes. But there are plenty of examples of that, and people forget. I am not a hyper religious person. I respect the people that are. I see, like you said, I see the good in those books, and I like the lessons that are in them. My wife and her family, they are. That's totally fine. But I would never disparage someone for that path. Like you're,
right.
and you're right. There's aspects of the church that totally dropped the ball, and those people.
But a lot, it's people. It's humans.
People.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's why you should study religion. That's a really great reason to go out and study other religions. I mean, they do that in seminary school when you go and you learn other religions, so you know what the difference is. And
I went to a Catholic college, and
They
one
do
of
it in
my
Catholic
classes
school?
was I briefly went to a Catholic college, and one of their classes was teaching you about other religions.
I think just
that
as
I had to
anybody,
take.
you go and learn what other religions have to offer and why. Because if there's a reason that so many people believe these different things, so go check it out. For me,
Well,
I think Christian values they work best because it's the nuclear family, and I think humans work the best in a nuclear family scenario, and especially a nuclear family with other nuclear families that are close to them. So their brothers and sisters, their nuclear families, their other little trees of nuclear family, they're above their parents and all that in a tribe. Basically, that's what you are. You're a small tribe, and like you were saying, go back to make a difference in your tribe, make the difference in your family, in your friends, the people you can influence. So those kind of values, I think, build the best societies.
Absolutely.
Which may also add to it as well. I think that's also a great thing about America is that we are a melting pot. But we are. There's so many different types of people that have built this country up.
Like this place is so much of a melting pot that I, the local anime black superhero man, am in a relationship with what are you, a multi-dimensional squid?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, the melting pot. Come on now, people,
Check it out. Look,
get it through.
interspecies relationships, hentai stuff going on. I
didn't say that. Relax. I didn't say that.
It has to.
Hey, now I like the tentacles, though. They're good.
So I got some bad news.
You did it.
All this good that happened. There's a lot of good stuff happening, but there is lurking in the shadows. We now
who the shit?
Biden admin Department of Homeland Security to create a disinformation governance board dedicated to countering misinformation. So one good
man, dude, man.
You say bad news are funny.
It's just I guess this is the universe balancing itself out, right? But we have Elon doing this great thing. Now, is this, Jack Posobiec, tweeted this out, and I have to believe it's good information. This woman down here apparently is going to head it, Nina Jankowicz. Allegedly, she.
Oh, I thought that said Ninja. Ninja Jankowicz.
She was had claimed some time ago that militarized Trump supporters would show up at the polls with weapons to intimidate voters.
That went over like a lead balloon.
Right.
Never happened. Never happened.
But this is one of those things, man, that like we have to, and I don't know how we stand up for it. I could
swear there was a piece of paper out there that said something about this kind of thing not being okay.
Was in there, I think.
Something like that. I mean, it might even be in a museum or say a library of, I don't know, Congress.
Well, we gotta get with Nicolas Cage on that. I don't know where you put it.
Yeah. You might have an extra we could take a look at.
Oh, Jesus.
You got a Xerox or something like that? I just got to confirm something real quick.
You just need a quick copy of that, please.
This is this is some.
This is the Patriot Act again.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
I knew it was a bad idea.
I didn't like it when they did it, and I don't want it to happen on the other side. We're doing the same thing.
Right. And this is, and it gives me the 1984 vibes.
We're vibing, bro. Arkansas, I see you over there. I didn't even see it.
It makes me think 1984, and you're gonna have this is like one of those things that are gonna be working with people to get families, in trouble. Like you'll have that shifty cousin who's ratting you out because you're doing the wrong speak.
They're easy to find though. They always have the pink hair in their hair. Hair dye, red flag.
There we go.
They out themselves relatively easily.
I have to disagree with that, but that's based on principle.
All right, fine. They have shaved heads too.
Okay, they do that. That one I will give you.
Shaved.
All I'm saying, I'm not saying that's confirming. I said red flag. Just
it really is though.
Fair.
Watch out for it.
Well, there is also, I mean, people so often bring that up and say, in nature, they're brightly colored creatures, poisonous. They also forget to point out in nature there are brightly colored creatures that are copying those other brightly colored creatures because they want the predators to not eat them and just think they're poisonous, but they're not actually poisonous.
Male feminists.
The hell is that?
Those are just dangerous. Those
predator.
Those are just predators.
That is absolutely a
There
predator.
we go.
Ooh.
No, it's certainly true. I mean, I feel like for the most part, right? Again, isn't it like stereotypes are a thing for a reason?
Oh yeah, they're definitely
Mostly
for
A little bit of truth in there.
right.
It sucks when you don't match the stereotype, and
Yeah. Oh, look at this! Look at this outlier over here. You faker. Get out of here.
I say I've always been weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This was like one of those troubling things. I felt like there was a lot of good news this week, and then I saw his tweet, and I was just like, "What the hell? Like, we just can't."
And I do recall Saki doing.
I was about to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden,
they're all saying fighter parts out loud
about Section 230. We think we should do some,
Yeah, exactly.
reform that.
But half a year ago was a different story.
You have not. You've been calling
it was a completely different story half a year ago.
Yeah.
Under Trump, it was a totally different story. He was talking about doing it, and then it was the most evil thing you could possibly think of.
Yeah,
that was a threat. That was a threat to the democracy. Now it's a threat to democracy not to.
Yep.
We're supposed to. I mean,
we're not even a democracy. God, these people.
We're not. We're not. What are you talking about? Has nobody learned from the Star Wars prequel trilogy? Has nobody learned? we got Palpatine.
I am the Senate.
Palpatine is running the country.
I am the Twitter.
Palpatine being Kamala Harris. We know how this goes.
Hey, you're giving Kamala too much credit. She'd be like, yes, Anakin, you're a very smart kid. I would love to groom you into an evil. Oh, dang it, I said it out loud. I didn't mean to say that to you, Anakin. Scratch that.
Is that why she hasn't said anything recently? Because
they can't trust her.
Oh,
they're like,
every time.
Kamala, go out there, literally say the baseline facts about whatever it is. Is it Ukraine? Ukraine is a place.
Ukraine is a small country.
You're too
Get back on a plane and take off. I appreciate you. Your checks in the mail.
Space.
Oh my god.
That space thing. Watching those children.
That's what she does. She just literally explains the thing and does not elaborate.
Well, I guess that's why she's so good for Biden, because that's the only way he's ever going to understand anything.
Right.
Yeah, you have to dumb it down for the president. We're in a bad spot.
It makes sense.
She's the person who defines the word with the word and is like, got it.
I mean, right?
Oh, God.
A poet is someone who is a poet. And I can rhyme too.
Write
see?
Words. You rhyme poet with poet. I know I'm so clever.
I am genius.
Well, so yeah, I didn't save the tweet from Saki about about Section 230, but that was something I caught up on, or I saw as well, and was like, wait a minute, like when it was coming out of Trump's mouth, it was like you said, it was a threat to democracy. It was we need to, private companies can do what they want. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, sorry, well, let's run that back. Let's circle back now.
Jen, I knew she was still there. Jen Chucky. By the way, I gotta commend you on your production value, Quarter Black, while you're on Loud or Crowder. Every time Jen Sack would show up, you do that quick flash of Chucky on the screen. I loved it. Yeah. Every time I see it, I just die. It was the greatest thing.
I do have that video if you want to watch it.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Sacky video. Yeah, let's get this sack of crap on video. Oh, gotta make sure I share the audio. Share the audio.
Always share the audio.
Always share the audio.
Don't show the DMs.
That too.
Yeah, that too.
Do you have a response to that? And does the White House have any concern that this new agreement might have President Trump back on the platform?
Oh my God.
Well, I'm not going to comment
Gotta mention
on
Trump.
a
Jesus
specific
Christ.
transaction. What I can tell you as a general matter, no matter who owns or runs Twitter, the president has long been concerned about the power of large social media platforms.
Bullshit.
The power they
Bullshit!
have over our everyday lives, has long argued that
Bullshit.
tech platforms must be held accountable for the harms they cause.
Bullshit.
He's been a
Bullshit.
strong
Fuck
supporter of
Harm.
fundamental
No way.
reforms to achieve that goal,
Oh
including
my
reforms
God.
to Section 230, enacting
Bullshit.
antitrust reforms, requiring more transparency, and more. And he's encouraged that there's bipartisan interest in
So, like-
Congress. In terms of what hypothetical policies might
Hypothetical
happen, I'm just not
policies.
This is the most shit-eating smirk I've seen ever.
She just lies. Like it's insane how much she like.
Yeah.
How does she sleep at night, dude? Like
don't
like a
understand
fucking
it.
she takes
Oh,
a
no.
bottle of like fucking Ambien just to fall
Always
asleep. Like there's no way.
She sleeps on a bed of pins and needles because that's the only way she's getting any kind of comfort is acupressure or some shit like that.
That is some mega ton bullshit.
And I'm sick of
Man.
hearing this is how they defend everything because they've attached actual harm to words.
Mhm.
Like words are actual, like they're akin to me knocking you in the face with my
Words are
fist.
violence.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I know
And that,
someone
you know-
here recently just used a specific slur to prove they're not violence.
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, you.
Oh yeah, I went full tilt on Twitter. Hard R, don't care.
Nice.
It was like,
You
oh,
can get
well,
away with it. That's not fair. That's not a real test.
You know what? Then I'll go back and revise it and use the bundle of sticks. How's that?
Here's 2022. Trump's fault for everything.
Right, like
Still.
they
Sounds
can't,
about right.
they can't go through one press conference without mentioning like, well, Trump. It's like, well, at this point,
stop it.
please.
But it's like the world's gonna fall apart if he gets back on Twitter. Oh my God, he's even at this point even said he's not going to. I
Yeah.
guarantee you he will eventually.
I think the funnier part about all of this is like for his time being on Twitter, regardless of them like heavily regulating what it was that he could and could not say, he still didn't say anything like exceptionally like I guess anything past mild really.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything like he just existed. He said a tweet and got a whole bunch of backlash about things that had nothing to do with the tweet every single time.
He's certainly
just
not the most eloquent speaker like Trump
all.
we're talking about. Like he certainly doesn't have a way with words, but like
He's no Tolkien, but he's definitely better than Biden.
Oh God, did you see
That's
that
all he's got to
tweet?
do.
Did you guys see that tweet about Boeing talking about they shouldn't have taken the deal for Air Force One because they lost like a couple $1 billion or something over it, and people are trying to spin it like it's a terrible thing that Trump took such advantage of the poor big manufacturing company.
Oh, no, not Boeing. What will they do?
Right.
Oh my God.
What happened to the left, man? All of a sudden, they're big fans of massive corporate companies. They're big
Communism.
fans of shutting down speech
And war now.
and war. It's weird.
Socialism.
It's like we're in a
Well, I've always
topsy-turvy
been for
world.
It's socialism
no
to
ability-
communism.
They have no sense of consistency. It's all
Yeah.
what's expedient to what their goal is. So
Yeah, what
Whatever
makes
whatever
them
can get them
win?
where they want. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they don't care like who they leave in their wake, especially the minority groups that they claim to fight for. It's like, no, you
Right.
need to keep them in servitude in order to use them to win the next election. It's embarrassing.
Right, yep.
And actually, I just finished listening because it was an audiobook. I'll admit that. It was from like the
That's
Nothing wrong with
60s.
no
No,
audio
right. There's nothing wrong with that. You got
What
the
you
book.
trying to
It's fine.
say?
True,
I ain't
true.
retarded. What? Audiobooks.
I always listen to. I always hear the words. I just look at the pictures. What are you talking about?
Yeah, dude.
Can you get an audiobook for a picture book? I hope so.
I'm sure you can.
Whack wham.
The unfortunate part about it, like, so the book was good. It was really hard to listen to at parts. It was called Custer Died for Your Sins. So it was a book about like Native American like affairs. The hard part about this book was like the anti-white like rhetoric spread through it.
Oh.
Like it was very, very angry. Like the person who wrote it was very angry. like towards white people and their colonistic like culture. And it was like, there were some good parts that I got from it, and I could see what the point of the book was. But this was from the 60s. It was right after, like, so 69, I think it was published originally.
Giggity.
So this
lot of things happening here.
this particular like narrative has been really spread throughout the world for a while now.
Yeah.
And that, like, we need to compartmentalize. We need to acknowledge that there's a white culture that's out to get minority groups, and the only way is to like eradicate that. And it's really sad that that's what it is, and that seems to be the tactic of the left. And it's so regressive, but somehow it's being pumped as progressive. This like neo-segregation. We have different graduations, different spaces for like, hello, like why is this even a thing at this point? But like but it's being pumped at the highest levels of government.
Mhm.
And it's keeping people like you said earlier, Garrett, like you're kept in these invisible chains, keeping yourself from actually succeeding. And the like some of the biggest celebrities too. I mean, not the biggest celebrities, but some of the biggest names, like I can't even think of them at this very moment. I'm so like
LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There we go.
Or Colin Kaepernick. We talked
Colin
about him
Kaepernick.
last
This
week.
was
God.
last
All of a
week.
sudden,
with
he's
Dude.
ready to-
That fool. That fool.
Did you hear? I don't know if you
Please,
heard or
master,
saw.
can I know it just called you a slave master, but can
There
I have
you
a
go.
job?
Right.
Can I
I will
have
be
a
a backup
job, please?
quarterback.
I
Right.
even
Backup
made a whole
quarterback.
documentary about you specifically being slave masters, but I still need a job though.
I want to
Right.
be a backup
The
slave.
Nike checks aren't coming in anymore.
I almost put that in as
Just
the title
do
of the
it.
clip, but
Just
I was like,
backup
maybe I'll
slave.
get banned.
Oh, that'd have been great.
Yeah, man. Like
You're in the way.
John
really.
C.C. Pina is another one.
Yeah.
Who?
John C.C. Pina.
Oh,
That
yeah.
guy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
The
yeah.
world's- The world's best American until he goes to China.
Yeah, jeez.
He apologized in Chinese, didn't he, or something like
He
that?
Yeah.
apologized in
Yeah.
Mandarin and then started praising all of their snacks, and shit got weird.
It was really weird.
Taiwan's a country, by the way.
Yes,
It is
Set the
absolutely
baseline.
a country.
Yep.
However, West China or West Taiwan is also a country.
Yes.
Hey,
If West Virginia could be a state, so can West Taiwan could be a country.
Tibet is also a country, something people have forgotten for a long
True.
time. Poor
Yep.
Tibet.
The other thing people forgot is that, like, I guess we've said it ad nauseum at this point. Like the amount of control, the actual control you have over your life, and like, and I've said this even before I started doing like YouTube stuff and talking about this. Like, you can move if you don't, if you're not, if where you live, it doesn't line up with your ideals. Like, you can move. Like, it's possible to save money.
yeah.
And especially as a younger adult, like any younger adults out there who are like just starting out their life, like save up your money and move to a place that you know line up with your ideals. Like,
Yeah.
don't, if you're a fairly conservative person, don't move to downtown Portland. Like,
Oh,
Probably not a
she
good
would
place
know
for you.
about that.
Oh yeah, no, as I lived in Atlanta for half my life. I hated most of the time being there, mainly because of like a lot of the policies, and it was hard to actually like get myself off the ground out there. And Amarada
Yeah.
was like, fine, snatched me up by my ankles by her with her tentacles and dragged me all the way up to Montana. Now look at me.
Thank
I
you.
went out and like over the weekend we went to a gun show. I bought something real nice for myself, thanks to
Nice.
Amarada as well. And then immediately after I put my wallet away, I fell into a lake. I can't find it anywhere.
that's weird. That happened to me
It's
too.
the
That
weirdest thing.
keeps happening.
Where do these lakes come from?
Oh, to be fair, it was a river. It runs right through the middle of town.
Fair. Yeah, that's true. Thanks, Sun River.
my favorite part about living in a conservative area is so I'm not from Utah, but I live in Utah, and my street is awesome because it's like the safest neighborhood I've ever like lived in, because everyone everyone has like is armed to the teeth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we got at the end of the street we got a hardcore, or actually right across the street from me, and like at the corner, like there's two hardcore Trump supporters. 2 doors down from them, LGBT flag outside. Never had a problem with them. They're super nice people. And then across the street from them, there's a guy with American flag out there, and then it's a picture of like a AR-15 that says "Come and take it."
I love it.
And I'm just
Yeah,
love it.
come and take it.
This is great, man. Like, and if you hadn't seen those indicators, salt of the earth people, they're just good people.
Hey.
They just want to like be. They just want to be and exist. They don't care for this nonsense, like all this like crazy identity politics.
Right.
They just want to they want to come over and they want to hand you like vegetables from their garden that summer. They want to just talk with you about, religion or something. Like, I've had neighbors come over because mostly LDS around here. So they'll come over and talk and whatever. Okay, fine. Just good people. They just want the best for their community. And then we do get lost in that, I think, with Twitter sometimes. And we think there's no hope.
Yeah. There's something to say about like community, but in the actual word of community, like your community that's around you. I took my son to a baseball game last night.
I saw the tweet about the cheerleaders.
He was very innocent about it. Like we were walking and he saw cheerleaders and he was like, I don't get cheerleaders. What do they do? Like, why would anybody want to do that? And then we were like sitting there and the cheerleaders came out and they had all the cameras up on them. They were doing their dances. He was like, yeah, I get it.
This was your 11-year-old?
Yeah, my 10-year-old is about to be
Or 10-year-old, yeah.
Almost 11. Yeah.
I got 20 minutes on that, and then he's 11.
Oh,
Nice. So, happy birthday to little Black Garrett.
Woo!
Yep. And then, so I there's something about seeing so many people coming together, and like I don't know any of these people, but we were like joking around and we were yelling chants into the sky and all kinds of stuff, and you just kind of for an evening you come together and nobody gives a shit who you voted for and none of that. You're just eating hot dogs and watching some dudes throw a baseball around. Like you need to go out and do more things like that. Touch grass. So
pretty much go touch grass. That's something that Eric has said before as well, like in one of his episodes of For Cannon's Sake, when you could go to you used to be able to go to like a Mavericks game, right? You go to a Mavericks game, you could be a hardcore libertarian, dude next to you is a hardcore liberal, or even like a socialist level or commie, whatever, but you're there to enjoy the game. You're there to just unwind from politics and just have a good show. That's all. Right. Just enjoy the game, enjoy like the players, enjoy like any fights that may happen on the court, but it's basketball, so none. And like just have a good time as opposed to just bogging yourself down with just disliking the person immediately next to you because of their political leaning. This sounds stupid.
We flipped everything into those things that are the most important thing.
Right.
Like, I don't know what my best friend of all time, I have no clue who he voted for. I do not give a shit.
Exactly.
We're best friends. I love him because he's a cool dude. Because we spent a lot of time. We spent, our childhoods together. I don't know who he voted for. I'm sure he didn't vote for who I voted for. But I don't give a shit.
What do you mean? I didn't even vote.
Like,
you can't have a say that.
Based. But that's like those things don't matter. I mean, if you're trying to marry somebody, I see that mattering because you're trying to forge ahead together and have a good plan for like moving forward.
That's someone you're with
your spouse, but that's somebody that's like you're literally trying to live with and go through life with. But like having your friends and people you talk to and have discourse, it's better to have. I have a friend that moved to Portland. He moved to Portland. That psychopath moved to Portland during the summer of love. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? But that's he agrees with that kind of stuff. And he's like, I'm never moving back to Texas. I don't like Abbott or whatever. And I was like, all right, whatever. We can still talk about, movies and comic books and whatever. None of that even has to factor into it. So the way that we interact with people and meet new people is so flipped.
Yep.
Just because of like stuff like Twitter and how it has made us in that way. So hopefully in the future, it'll be more open and it's less of that kind of mentality.
Well, now that we're no longer locked down, I do think that the 2 years of being locked up really helped bring that further forward, because all we could do for a while was interact in superficial ways. We couldn't just go out to the ballpark or go out to the park or walk down the street and organically meet people in a way that didn't somehow tip us off to their various beliefs
Mhm.
and political leanings. So we're so much more hyper focused on that now that it's going to cause us serious damage for a while until people can get over it again and learn to live in their communities instead of live online.
Well, that's
Right.
why that's why we're here. You know, it's like remind people that like, I mean, I don't like just saying go touch grass because that sounds like demeaning, but like,
It
I
does
mean,
sound-
right,
I
no,
just
it
worry
does.
they're going to
But
kill
you,
the
you,
grass.
you go touch grass because grass is great, because outdoor is great. It's great to go outside and meet people that are real, even though it's great
Sunlight
to
is-
meet people that are, giant scary monsters like yourself,
Oh,
or
yes.
certainly am.
superheroes. It's great to meet
Oh, yeah,
people
yeah.
online. It's great to meet people on like YouTube or in Twitter, but also go outside and meet people in real life.
Right.
Sunlight
That's
is the
awesome
best
as well.
disinfectant.
So
Yeah. And take a
something really
shower.
important that's happening right now is make Twitter great again is trending on Twitter. I just
Oh,
wanna
is
make sure
it?
everyone knows?
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Meta.
And misgendering, but
Oh no, Mitga is what that'd be.
Nigga.
Mitga.
Yo, what's up, my nigga?
What's up, my Mitga? Yes, I was about to say it.
that we've come to that place, I think, because where we didn't care about that stuff before. It was just like meeting people and enjoying each other as humans and like individuals. But because we've like commercialized the identities, like you need to have your rainbow shirt if you're gay, you need to have the trans
Yeah.
flag shirt if you're, you know what I mean? Like people forgot, like those are important parts of you, and that is like it is part of who you are. But like we need to get back to a place where it's the things that you do, not the things that you announce that you do. Like again, we've talked about like the virtue signaling thing is bad in my opinion. It's like, what actions do you take in your real life? Like, who's the next Keanu Reeves? Like we could all pick up that mantle of like just doing good for someone because it's the right thing to do, not because you're trying to score points with someone. And that's once we get back to that place where people, and I think people are there to an extent in the like outside of the Twitterverse, but it needs to be like we can't be scared of someone if they're wearing a Trump shirt or a Biden shirt or if they have rainbow hair, right? Like we still need to be able to, and I think most people here, even if they did see someone with all of you, not most of you, all of you here, I think would be respectful to anyone who came up to you, regardless of what they looked like. Because normal people don't come up to you and like announce their pronouns to you, right? It's like we still have like normal conversations, but
That's not a
I might
person,
have
that's
an
a robot.
issue with somebody if they did that. That would be hard to deal with.
We're like, okay.
even
Continue to say whatever I say.
Cool.
right, even
Sweet.
the trans kids I work with, like even they don't do that. Like some of them aren't even like, they're not like passable or anything. They're like in the middle or right at the beginning.
Right.
But no one's ever like, even they know, like I think I've had a conversation with at least one of them where they're like, yeah, I don't really do that. Like my hair is long and whatever, but I'm a trans woman. I'm like, cool, like
All right.
awesome.
Do
Okay.
you do whatever
Right.
you want to do?
Whatever you want.
Right.
So there, I held a little hope in a lot of this. I'm probably more optimistic than most in this business, but it's alarming when you look at Twitter for even 5 minutes. You're just like, whoa.
And
It's even more
maybe-
scary if you look at libs of TikToks.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
Oh, dude. Maybe having this platform open, and that'll be like, oh, whenever they said we have to lock down all this stuff because once the top is taken off, all these white supremacists are going to be coming out of the woodwork. They're going to be everywhere saying all kinds of crazy stuff. And whenever that doesn't happen, people go, wait, last time you said a bunch of white supremacists were going to come out of the woodwork and it didn't happen.
Right.
So maybe I'm not going to listen to you next time. So hopefully that's what we get out of all this.
I mean, you'd think we'd be there slightly by now because every time you turn around, everything's supposed to be the next
Slowly.
kicker for white supremacy. And oh god, oh, that's true.
Slowly. I think
Some people are slower than others. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, that was my biggest problem with Trump. Like one of the red pilling moments I had was like right at the beginning of COVID, where it was like I was like, everyone kept saying like Trump, and I was like, okay, like now that I have time and I'm not working, like I'm just gonna look up some of this stuff. And it's really where I started watching Crowder a lot more, because people were slandering him for stuff. I'm like, okay, well, what's actually happening with him?
Mhm.
So I started going down and like watching all the Change My Minds, and then I started looking at things individually. Like, what's being said does not match up to what's actually happening.
Right.
And like, then you start going like, okay, I'm gonna, okay, Trump's an idiot, whatever, he says weird things, I'm gonna look at his policies. Wow, his policies aren't bad. Like, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Why is no one reporting that? And then you try bringing that up to people, and it's like, whew,
Oh yeah, they go
But-
crazy.
but
Yeah,
grab
none
him
of
by the
that
pussy,
matters, but he said mean words.
yeah,
That's the shit that always throws me, is like people will, instead of focusing on what someone's actions are, they'll listen to what they say and immediately judge them based off of that. Like,
right.
Well, they won't even
Um,
listen to what they say. They'll listen to a clip out of context and assume
Mhm.
that they know the whole story.
Mhm.
exactly that too. Like, for example, there's one guy, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. I think it was like Yoshitake, if I remember correctly. The composer for like the Dragon Quest series and like Blue Dragon and a lot of other like video games and stuff like that. Dude does fantastic, like phenomenal music. Complete xenophobe. He hates almost every race out there that isn't Japanese. He hates like he's not sexist, or not like really. I guess homophobic is a better way to put it. He believes in like traditional family marriages and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, dude has an exceptionally like honed in, unshakable worldview. I don't agree with his stances on a lot of things, but his music is phenomenal. So I can't hate the guy. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
like or rather, all right, like I can't disagree. Same thing, like for example, hot button topic with just some guy. Like, he's still at the core of it all, really cool dude in my eyes. He
Right.
just has worldviews that I don't agree with personally,
Off the
and
deep
Yeah.
it's that easy. Like, I don't
There's
hate
certain
him for it.
worldviews that I really disagree with.
Oh yeah, no, I really
Yeah.
hardcore
Most of
disagree
them.
with.
Totally
Yeah,
fine.
but
It's just certain
otherwise, like
things
I don't.
he chooses to defend.
Yeah, to defend is it's very weird. But otherwise, like I don't hate the guy. I don't
Right.
hate the Japanese dude either. Like, you exist as you are, and like you have a different worldview from what I have. I'm just saying, hey, look at it from this perspective. Maybe you'll, maybe it'll add to yours. It'll change yours a little bit. You have something a different perspective or a different idea of how to approach things, as opposed to like, this is what I know. This is what I know. This is what I know. You can't tell me anything else. That's just where I stand, at least.
Yeah.
People
Here's a
forget
question.
how much energy it takes to hate.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's oh boy.
Well, my question to you guys was going to be like at what point? So this is something I think about a lot, and I think like how are we really going to influence the culture? And I think part of it is the power. Well, the power of forgiveness, but also separating someone's like singular action from like the totality of who they are. And I agree with you, Garrett, that like I think just some guys' recent comments are pretty problematic in the subject matter, and it's one of those subjects that it's really hard for me to like look past that. But at what point do we need to be the ones to change? Because it doesn't seem like the progressive left is doing that. They'll take a singular action, and that's their MO, right? They'll just like this, and they'll point at it, and they'll focus right in on it, and they won't look at the big picture of who someone is.
My only issue with that is, and I agree with you. I don't think you should say like somebody has one action, and some actions can be that one action that gets you completely off my radar.
Right.
But for just some guy, specifically for him, I don't care that he was against the bill. It was his vehement hatred for anybody that was for the bill, and completely disregarding anybody's arguments for the contrary.
Right.
And literally from the start calling people gay haters and bigots,
Homophobes and stuff,
homophobes, including myself, for just simply explaining the other side's argument.
Yeah.
That's what I have a problem with, was all that. I don't care that he disagrees, like whatever.
Put simply.
I have no problem with that. It's the way he treated people along the way that disagreed with him. So
Exactly.
that's what I have
Yeah,
a problem with.
and it's funny because like there were a couple of things that he did put out, and like I didn't agree with them. Like I figure it was one thing he was saying, like, you know, the right is everyone, he was pretty much generalizing, saying the right is like homophobic, this, that, and the other. And I
Yeah.
said it's not the right. It's people who don't like gay people. They're
Yeah.
on both sides. They're in the
Right.
middle. It's not just one specific side.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that generalization is what's really making people go against you way harder than they should be.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's easy to have like a good discourse, a good discussion, and just like have a nice what's the word I'm looking for? Like an amicable departure from there. You guys just walk away learning about each other a little more. But if you go in shields up, you're not going to move. You're not budging at all.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got great videos on Lord of the Rings and
Yeah.
great videos on comic books and lore like that, and I think you should stick to that.
Yeah.
My
That
opinion. on it.
yeah,
'Cause
no,
he's
that's
fucking phenomenal on that stuff.
Yeah, it's not even a shut up. It's not even a shut up and dribble kind of situation. It's just there are some things. It's like people like you for one thing, and you're going at the people who like you for something that doesn't have anything to do with them at all.
Yeah.
So then people leave.
Yeah.
And like all that does is just sow seeds of distrust and seeds of hate for
Right.
you know, for one
Kinda go
specific
like, well,
individual.
Well, I guess you hated me the whole time that I loved your content. Wait, that's weird,
Yeah.
I guess. I guess
Yeah.
I'll leave. That's what I kind of got out of it. I was like, damn, dude, okay. Shit.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's weird.
yeah.
it's weird.
The
weird.
intolerance
Weird.
the intolerance of some people is strange. And I think we all fall victim to, like, we see something online and we give that knee-jerk reaction, especially Twitter, because it's just sometimes it's funny.
Yeah.
Or like you're trying to make a joke or whatever. But it's, I think in the long run, I've been thinking about his particular situation recently and thinking like, well, it certainly is a bonehead hill to die on. But where do we change? I mean, I guess it just comes down to what's being said. Like I said, if someone's being so intolerant and making dumb generalized statements like that, they're doing far more harm, and they obviously are stuck inside their own ways, and they don't want to think outside that box. And I think that's the biggest difference I've seen with when it comes to people who consider themselves like conservative or libertarian. They have a far more open mind. And don't get me wrong, I've met a lot of closed-minded conservatives, but like
Same with libertarians.
by and large, those are the people who want to talk. Like if you say something, they might be like, "Oh, I don't really agree with that, but it's because of this."
Like
And
these
they'll
dogs.
right, exactly. But
They always have something to say.
always. They're actually good contributors to this podcast. I like them. We'll get them a spot, like a square soon. Camera.
Shouts out to the dog amaradas.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Is
feel
also an effect of online discourse, is that you immediately, I am 100% sure if you sat down and said, hey, we have a disagreeing opinion on this bill, let's talk about it, it wouldn't be how it went on Twitter. It would have been, you have your opinion, I have my opinion. You have a discussion about those back and forth. Maybe you come somewhere in between. Maybe you don't. Maybe you walk away exactly where you were before, but at least nobody came away hurt. That what happened was hurt. And you can see by all and I'm not specifically just because we're just talking about just some guy right now.
He's just a good
But
example.
just with that, at the moment, a good example of that, of doing what you fight against, of being completely closed-minded to any other opinion outside of the one that you have, and hating people, or at least not hating, but at least giving off a clear contempt for anybody that has the opposite opinion of you.
Yeah.
And
I'll be honest.
it's not a good way to talk to people.
When people talk about not using the left's tactics, that's exactly the one I usually think of the most, is not being that closed-minded person who turns on everybody immediately without trying to discuss and have nuance.
Yeah.
Because that is actually the biggest cavern I can see in this fight for, you might want to put it, being the biggest pitfall. I mean, you can go too far to the other side and literally become what you are trying to fight.
Yeah.
And you have to keep that in mind. You're right in that you can't always play nice by the rules. You have to play dirty to some point, but you also have to realize at what point do I want to become them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. It's such a sticky situation because I've heard arguments for both sides. It's like, no, you have to, like, they don't play that by the rules, so why would you play by the rules? And there is some merit to that. But I think, like, you know, in even if you go, you know, even if you think in terms of like the Bible or religion, like if you want to go to that route, like at some point you got to take the high ground in this, or the high road rather. And again, I haven't read the Bible, but I think I have a decent understanding. It's like, just be a good person. Even if you just thought of like the golden rule, like just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Like that's a pretty easy rule to live by. And I mean, if
in all aspects of life, like try and understand somebody else's opinion like you would like them to understand your opinion.
Right.
Or at least
same
listen.
exact thing. You put it, yeah.
It's been for me, and like I remember, like I said, my red pilling happened fairly like recently, but what's interesting about it is that I lived most of my life in the mindset that I'm in now, but because I moved to Hawaii like 10 years ago, and I was living there, and because that place is so progressive, and there's an interesting history about Hawaii anyway, but like the people there like twisted my mind like insanely. And the more I think back on some of the conversations I had with people, the more embarrassed I get. But like
Spill
my
the
best
tea.
friend, no, not right now. Not right now.
It's a little late.
My best friend in the world, like he's the guy that like we won't talk for 3 months, but then we'll just pick up right in the same spot. We all have those people.
Yeah.
And I don't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I said some progressive nonsense to him, and without me understanding that he was conservative, he totally slowed me down, and he talked with me. He was like, I don't really agree with what you're saying. And I was like, and he just threw some like facts at me, and he threw some stuff at me. And it didn't sit well with me at first, but it got me thinking. And then COVID happened shortly after, and I started going down that rabbit hole. And like I said, taking things one at a time. And it was a few months later, I moved here to Utah, and I remember I was coming home from my new job, and I like thanked him. I was like, dude, thank you for like taking the time to talk to me. And I was proud of myself for keeping that open mind, because I was realizing the poison that was being like injected in me all the time. Like the identity politics, like you need to apologize for being a man. You need to apologize for being white. You need to apologize for all the sins of your forefathers. And I was just like, and I was eating it up. And then I realized, like, this is insane.
Why should you? I got to keep referencing Eric, because man, he kind of covered a lot of bases in about a decade or so. But he has a song that says, how does it go? We can't pay for the mistakes of man that came before.
Right.
Like, why are you subjected to apologizing for something you as the individual had nothing to do with? It makes no sense to me.
Right.
Yeah. It's original sin. It's a different, it's a different religion. That's what woke progressiveness is another religion that they don't call religion, and they don't say they have a God, but their God is themselves, and they choose what the 10 commandments are at any given moment. They just whatever my 10 commandments are, you have to follow them, and if you don't follow them, you're a heretic, and you must be burned, you must be canceled, you must be unpersoned and gone from this earth.
Right.
And we've taken away your TV privileges. That's pretty much how that whole thing
No
goes.
TV for you.
It's scary, because I do think about those days, and again I get embarrassed, and we'll talk about it sometime. Don't worry, I'll spill the beans. And
I'll be there.
Oh, I know. No, I think it's cathartic too to talk about, because it was a big growth period where it's like I know what I was doing was a bit in nuts, and I'm sure some people were like, "What are you talking about?" You know, I'm sure I sounded like in my head like I knew what I was talking about, but I'm sure some of the customers I spoke with were like, "Whatever, bro. Like, just pour my drink, man." So it's but no, and again, it's why I started doing this. I started watching shows like Crowder, and then getting into Friday Night Tights and all these other got Geeks and Gamers. Like, these were the guys. I was like, there's other people out there. Actually, my first run in was actually Gothic. So I believe you've been on her show too. Garrett.
Gothic is awesome.
Yeah,
It's
Great people.
and her and I became friends, and like we've hung out several times, and it's like knowing that other people are out there breaking that mold, and like I don't feel so isolated anymore. And so my hats off to all of you guys and everyone in chat who has come and support and have been a part of my journey, because it's important, and then important for anyone looking back on this at some point, knowing that all of us were probably in the same spot, and all of us are here to like help forward that good culture, that steer the ship, as it were.
And it's not left, it's not right, it's authoritarian and anti-authoritarian. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
Because wokeness and progressiveness and that kind of mentality you're talking about, of being in an environment where everything is so oppressive, about you need to believe this, like you're a white male, straight white male, and you must be admonished for that. That's oppressive, man. That is authoritarian. That is not a good way to live your life. So it's like I said, not left, it's not right. You can have different political opinions, you can have different social and economic opinions. Doesn't matter, as long as you're not for authoritarianism,
right,
and forcing other people to do things they don't want to do, then you're cool.
Absolutely.
I love it. I mean, it's a beautiful place to stop for tonight. We got 2 solid hours. And I think we talked about a lot of great stuff and hit a lot of great points. I want to hear what you guys are up to. Quarter Black, what are you doing these days?
Fucking everything, dude. I feel like I'm doing so much. I did 4 shows today, including this one.
Oh wow.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we're doing, no problem. Thanks for having me on. We're doing Nooners on Gary's channel. We're trying to get those pretty soon. They're going to be every day. Most every day. It's coming.
That's got to be fun to try to wrangle.
Yeah, we're working on it. So we're doing that. We're editing videos. I'm also doing my own channel. I have my own channel if you want to subscribe there, where we talk about movie, we play video games, do stuff over there like that, and then I'm guesting on people whenever they ask me to be on their show. So
sweet. Are you you do everything on YouTube, like your
pretty
broadcast?
Much. Yeah, everything. I tried doing Odyssey for a while, but there's like as soon as they fixed their streaming, which is still in its infancy,
yeah,
their bit rate is so low that it kind of kills my video quality.
Right.
So I can't do it. I was like, I gotta have the video quality. But eventually, everything does go over to Odyssey. So if you have an Odyssey account, I have an account there, so it pops up over there, so you can watch everything I do over there. Nice. Yeah, this was good. Good conversation. This is a good show.
Heck yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed, because I was a little nervous. I was like sweating. I put an extra deodorant on. I was like, oh man.
Oh man.
Well, we're still in our infancy with the show, and we're still like finding our grooves, and I think we've done great over the past 5 shows, and sort of getting everything going and finding our comfort zones. So like you being our second guest, it was like, okay, we're turning the heat up here. We're like, let's get going, bring the production value.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, you guys are doing great.
I do have a couple links for you down in the description, I think, for Twitter and for YouTube. So make sure you guys, if you're not following, I'm sure you guys are, but if you're not, make sure you follow him. Yes, you should be. Emerauda, what are you up to?
Oh, just the same things. Tomorrow night will be Elden Ring. Thursday, Friday, I'll be playing Ark. And Saturday or Sunday will be. Oh, wait.
Friday and Saturday is Ark.
Friday and Saturday is Ark, and then Sunday should be okay. I have to take a trip out to Billings to drop off one of these puppies. But I should be back in time for my stream, so we should be okay there. But more Elden Ring then. So
oof, yeah, You may have. I was thinking the other day. I was like, really want to play a survival game. I might reinstall Ark and hop on your server because
Ark's fun. I
Yeah.
like Ark. Spent
It's
a
been a
lot of
while.
hours in there.
Mhm.
It's been
But-
interesting learning curve for sure because they don't tell you shit.
no,
Oh.
especially
I
with
have
the taming.
killed
It's
so many
it-
dinosaurs.
Yep.
It was
Um,
great. I started playing that game early on in the development, so there were like 4 different, like not zombies. I almost said zombies. Zombie dinosaurs. Oh my god! But yeah,
That would be
Zombie
cool.
Forest?
there was like 4 different dinosaurs, and then over time they were just constantly adding more and more and more. It felt like every week there was a new dinosaur.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
That
Yeah, it was a
no.
lot of fun though. My son and
Coming
I
in
we
at
played
this
that
end.
together a lot.
Yeah,
That was
coming into this
my-
end, there are tons of them. Oh my god.
Yeah, and that was my only actually criticism of the development cycle of that game was it was like one of the first early access games that actually updated regularly, but then there got to be so many damn animals.
It was
in
like
there, dinosaurs.
I'm just walking and I'm just stepping on dinosaurs. I can't do anything.
right.
And then they're
Yeah,
stepping
then
on
they
you.
balanced it out a little bit.
Exactly. But yeah, you might see me wanting to pop in there because I've been wanting
Right.
to do some surviving.
Just let me know. Do you have Gilded yet?
I do. Do I have it? I think I do.
Because
Yes, I
I'm
do.
doing all my stuff through Gilded now. So
Okay. Okay.
just let me know and we'll get you in the server. I'll get the guy who runs it for me to set you
Nice.
up.
Local hero. What are we doing?
Let's see. So
Local baby Rays? I didn't even see.
Making
Local
meat
baby
taste
rays.
better.
there we go. But let's see. I'm answering emails and helping out with development of Eric's site over at ericdjuly.com. If you're not there, you should sign up. Go ahead, get in the mix.
Yeah.
Get all the insider scoop for when the Rippaverse starts popping off. For those that haven't seen it on Twitter, he did announce that he secured the warehouse. So
Oh, nice.
things are moving as they should. That's a plus. Aside from doing that, working on the site, I'm also hosting my own show, usually Mondays, sometimes Fridays, called The Chopping Block over on Twitch at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's Monday and sometimes Friday. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. At 7 p.m. Monday, Mountain Time. Huh?
8
8?
8 Mountain Time.
for workout.
It's 7. Oh, 8. You're right. You're right. Correct. I am doing the show at 8 instead because
Time
8 is a
zones,
better
man.
number. 8 is a better number. And for our plans, Amarada and I, we do spend an hour or so
We're
doing
working
some,
on working out.
working
Oh,
out,
nice.
getting back in the gym because local heroes gotta
Nice.
gotta have some guns on them, pretty much.
You lifting, bro? What are you doing?
See, I don't exactly lift. I'm more of like a circuit exercise guy. So I do a mile on the treadmill,
Okay.
and then I'll just like I'll run. They have like a circuit machine at the gym that we're at. Or not a circuit machine,
You
but
doing
like
a lot of
circuit
cardio
machine.
stuff?
circle. Yeah, mainly cardio, and then I do like I forgot what it's called specifically. Aside from like where they pretty much hone in on specific muscles for each machine.
Okay, isolation.
Isometrics.
Isolation. There we
I-
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Isometrics. I forgot what the name of that was, but like, yeah, I'm doing that. So I'd run it. I'd run that. Do a set, stop for a bit, do another set, get up, go to the next machine, and just do that. And then I try to get another mile in before Amarad and I head out from there.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm pretty much doing that for an hour. Then I do my show on Monday, sometimes Fridays, Wednesdays. I'm here. In the meantime, in between time, I'm drawing pictures because I got a comic that I'm working on.
Finger painting, eating crayons. We got it.
Exactly. Now wait a minute. No. But if I'm not doing any of that, I'm trying to appease the Eldritch goddess or squid, whichever she goes by. And then if I'm not doing that, then I turn on my Nintendo like that.
Sorry, crappy internet.
Yeah, just like kind of jam out on some video games a little bit, get a little bit of that in, and then get right back into doing more work, really. By the way, Quarter Black, I sent you a tweet a while back, I'm pretty sure you missed it, in reference to Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. We got to play that.
All right. You want
We
to
got to
stream
play
it?
that. I'm streaming it.
Fucking stream that shit and I'll play it.
Absolutely. Because I streamed Streets of Rage 4. That game is fantastic.
Dude, isn't it? Oh, dude,
I'm still
You want to
throwing
play that
hours in.
too? I'll play that too.
We'll play that too. Sure.
love
I
that
unlocked
fucking game.
everybody. We can do it. Let's go.
Good
But
game.
Fighting games.
Who's your main?
Oh.
Who's your main?
Sorry.
that was rude, Shagsworth. You jerk. Oh, Steve. It's funny because if first it started out, my main was Axel, and then I was like, oh, okay, Axel's not bad. He's not bad. Then I found out like the techniques you could do with I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. Skate's brother,
Luke. Lucas? Is that his name? Lucas?
It wasn't Lucas. Adam. Hunter. There we go.
Adam.
Holy moly. Adam
Yeah, you're
Hunter, like I learned about the technicalities you could do with him. And then they said, oh, she was
Exactly
going to
the
be a
same.
playable. They said she was going to be a playable character. I was like, y'all fucked up. That was my favorite guy to get my ass kicked by. I'm playing as Shiva all day, every day.
All right. Okay. All right. I haven't played
Shiva's
Shiva
like-
yet. I haven't played Shiva.
Dude,
yeah,
you have to.
My
Shiva's
main
so
is Adam
busted.
all day long. Because those
Like-
that boom and his kicks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
good.
yeah. I love it. But Adam's, not Adam, but Shiva's got like this great setup where he's like, he does his ground combo, goes into a launch, and then you just
Yeah, shit, yeah.
yeah, he gets like the fucking air combos and drops you back to the ground, hits you with your fucking super, and it's great. I'm just like, this is how you
Yeah.
play fighting games. Don't you play that damn sound against Shagsworth. I'm watching your fingers right now. Hey, you cut it out. Hey, you stop.
Let me see the digits. Let me see the digits.
Heads up.
But yeah, no, we got to get some games in for sure.
Yeah, we'll do
for
that.
sure. To set something up. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I'm really doing is everything all at once. There's a lot
He's
going
a
on.
busy man.
Christ Almighty.
Sounds like good busy dog.
Well, you guys play your lame ass games. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut up.
We'll be
put
over
your
playing
beard in the
ours.
headlock.
And
will put-
yeah,
See,
I
you
will
trying to
put your
shame us
beard-
back with that freaking PlayStation in the back.
You see how they always
I
keep-
can't get one.
See,
You
look,
don't have
see, they
one?
got.
That's
I don't
privilege
have
right
one.
there.
I have one.
Get that privilege.
I know you have one. see, this is exactly what I mean.
White
When they say
privilege on here.
they always look at us all this white privilege up top. You got white privilege. You got girl privilege or female privilege. You got the black people
Yeah.
at the bottom. I hate y'all for this, man.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
I'm gonna put your beard in a headlock, Shagsworth. I'm putting the
If I really
headlock,
wanna
and now
piss you off.
I'm gonna
You better be
I'm
careful.
gonna be
Like
upset
Chuck
because of
Norris,
your beard.
there's just another fist back here. So you
Just
better watch
surprise
yourself.
you.
And if
It's
you
a
really
tax
want to hear
for a neck
about
that
my
I can put
privilege,
in
we
the
can
headlock
talk about
and
my
put it
Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? She's got the fucking Halo.
That's fine.
Infinite
I got a
Edition.
PC. I got a PC. It's better than all y'all shit.
I
What's
got
a
one of those
PC?
too.
I have a Nintendo Switch. I got it when it was hot back in the day.
It works. That's what matters.
It works.
Right.
Me and my PS4 gonna cry. I mean, well, the PS4 is gonna cry. I'm gonna sit here and look at it with a shotgun.
Well, I am doing. What am I doing these days? Obviously, every
Everything
Wednesday we are here, 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Friday, I have a show, The Midnight Oil, where we talk about movies, movie trailers, comics, MCU stuff, all that wonderful business going on. That's at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time as well. And then on Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes Monday now, I've been kind of cutting out the Monday stream when I can. We're doing video games over on Twitch. That's basically what I'm up to. Like I said, I'm trying to make more room for the YouTube content, and I'm actually enjoying it much more. Like Twitch was fun, but I'm certainly enjoying the creative freedom on YouTube. I know there's some restrictions that
That's
come
something
up.
else. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
got to cut in. That's something else I had to say. I did upload some videos recently, people. So if you haven't seen them, go watch them. I'm working on another one. That's why I didn't. That's why I didn't put out another. I didn't do a show this week. Is because I had a lot going on. I'm working on another one right now. Also, I'm DMing for a Dungeons and Dragons game. I'm busy. Holy shit!
Keep it busy. I'm doing
Help
the same
me.
thing.
That's good. That's good.
I'm trying to. Like I said, I'm trying to do. Like Twitch is fun, but it was a matter of like I would rather do this. I'd rather sit down with all you guys and
Right.
spend time editing and sharpening everything as much as I can, the content. And like every week we get a little bit better at it and bring a little bit more value to it. So that's the goal right now. You'll be seeing a lot more stuff, and over the next couple of days, we'll chop this up and the segments will come out. So keep an eye there. Anyone, like all of our links are down below. You guys are welcome to join the Discord, be a part of the community. You can see all what I'm doing there. I usually update everyone there first, then on Twitter. But sometimes I say fun stuff on Twitter as well. So feel free to follow me there. But that's it for us tonight, everyone. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next Wednesday, 9 p.m., same time. Garrett, thank you again for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It was awesome.
Appreciate
Good conversation.
so damn quickly. Good grief.
I was already on there. I was like, of course. Man.
Love it.